This
7.
conference will now be recorded.
Start the meeting when you're ready.
All right, so I'll let you know and I'll call on you when it's time for that. Good evening, everyone. My name is Renetta English. I'm the chair of Queens Community Board number 3, and I'd like to welcome you to our May 20th full board meeting. And the first thing that I'm going to do is put the agenda on the screen so everyone can see what we'll be covering tonight. Board members, you did receive an email, the link to all of the documents that we will be reviewing. In a subfolder, it has all of the committee reports. Please have them open when it's time to be reviewed. And one item that I'm going to amend the agenda with, after we say the Pledge of Allegiance, we will have Lobsang, the Immigration Affairs Chair. He'll say a few words and he's going to show an item in memory of or in recognition of Memorial Day, and then we'll go into executive session. So that's going to be an addition or a update to our agenda for tonight. So let me just go through the agenda and welcome again, everyone. So this is our agenda for tonight, our monthly meeting. We open up with public participation, but I don't believe we have anyone. And this is where the public has the opportunity to speak. Then we'll have public information. We'll first welcome our wonderful new captain, Captain Altaheri for the 115th Precinct, followed by our new Community Affairs Officer, Byron Gonzalez. As you know, she retired, our past Community Affairs Officer. Then we'll have a very informative presentation from Mr. Jeffrey Weiss. And as you know, the census was so important as a community board pushed. We will then go into public hearings, land use, which we'll discuss 2 items as you see listed here, followed by business echo. Board members note, we will then go into executive session. And this is where, at this point, only community board 3 members have an opportunity to weigh in on a variety of issues. Followed by that, we'll open up with the Pledge of Allegiance. Then we'll adopt before and after the Pledge of Allegiance, we'll have a few words for our Immigration Affairs Chair. Then we'll be showing an item that his committee worked on. We'll adopt the agenda, motions by committee.
That's what I'm saying. It's possible.
Yeah.
Because she's at home. She didn't at home. So
Keisha,
everybody there doing it.
Right.
everyone, when you come into the room, can you please put yourself on?
Okay, I got it, Helen. I'll talk to you in the morning.
Can you please put yourself on mute, and then can you mute anyone that is in the background, please? All right, Keisha?
Yes.
Thank you, and you can mute yourself. Thank you. Fasto, please mute yourself. Everyone, when you come into the room, can you please mute yourself? Because that'll be disruptive to our speakers.
Okay, Renetta, we have two public participation speakers. We have Mr. Brad Bradley.
Okay, Brad.
And right, and then the Assemblywoman Gonzalez Rojas. She was supposed to give her report at that time.
All right, so
Public
welcome.
participation.
Okay, so welcome again, everyone. So I just wanted to review again the agenda. Please, when you come into the room, please put yourself on mute. So let me go back to the agenda. Okay, again, as mentioned, we do have 2 speakers for public participation. This is where the public has the opportunity to speak. Public information, those are our speakers. We have our public hearings. If you do have a question, everyone in the public, you have the opportunity to ask questions. Please type in the chat, and then you will be called on to say your question. And we have a very tight agenda. We're voting on 10 items tonight. Then we go into executive session. This is the opportunity for only Queens Community Board 3 members to weigh in on issues. We'll adopt our agenda and so on. And you can find all of the information for Queens Community Board number 3 in regards to our meetings on our website, on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram. And so board members, it looks like a majority are here. So Arthur, I'd like you, because Kevin is not here today, his husband and his birthday, so he's not here. So we'll miss Kevin for this month, but as you know, he is a very active member and he can have a break, right? So we'll open up the meeting with our roll call. Arthur, can you start? And
All
thank you.
right, I'll call the roll, but I'm not terribly used to doing this, and I can't see my spreadsheet and the window at the same time. So if somebody is waving or something, somebody else will have to translate it for me. All right, Con Blanta,
He's here.
Ann
Yes.
Brown here.
Come on to here.
I'm not here.
No,
All
he's
right,
gonna,
Ann Brown, you
Here.
said you're here?
Yes.
All right, Elba,
Yes, I am. Hey, yeah.
Mark,
I'm here.
Mark, Vicky Tran,
Here.
well, change your mark. Mr. Chowdhury?
Yes, I'm here.
Heiko,
not here.
Shiv Das,
Yes, I'm here.
Sonia Davis Robert, Michael DeBala,
I'm here.
Vivian Dock,
She's here.
She's here.
is Vivian Dock there?
Yeah, she's here.
All right, good. Margaret Dozier,
She's here, but she's having back feet
Renata
yet.
English is here, Mr. Gandhi, Mr. Gideon, Pastor Haran,
I'm here.
good. Loretta Hooks,
Here.
Abdurrahman Hollander,
Mr. Hollander,
Kevin Hughes is not here, Joyce Julian,
not here.
Edwin Kirlin,
Here.
Stephen Kahanen, Martha
Not here.
Lebanon,
Here.
Lisa Masua,
Here.
Ralph Moreno,
Excused.
he's here, Richard
Excuse-
Mullins,
I see Richard.
Here.
Okay.
Here, Marco Menenzo,
Mark Munoz, not here.
Marco, not here, Veronica Nugg, Dr. Lemons, Dr. Laverne,
He's excused.
you here? All right, Nuala O'Doherty,
Here.
Mr.
Adiza Perez,
Lily, I think it's your phone. Put yourself on mute.
Yes.
Or
Dorothy,
Abdul Rahim just came in, Arthur.
who just came in?
Abdur.
Also, Mr. Gandhi is online as
All
well.
right, let me go back to Abdul, all right. Good. Where was I after Dorothy? Megan Rockwell,
She's excused.
she's here.
She's excused. Not here.
Rodriguez. Achusa Rodriguez. Hiram Rodriguez.
Fausto is here.
Hiram is here.
No, Fausto is here.
Fosco is here. All right. Leoncio Romero.
Yes, I'm here.
Good. Tammy Rose.
Here.
Edward Rosenbaum. Yeah.
Here.
David Rosario. Lapsing. Dawn Stiff.
Here.
Lapsing
Here.
is here. All right. Not here?
No, he's here.
He's here.
I'm sorry. Dawn
Here.
Schiff. Jimmy Smith.
I'm not here.
Fad Salaman. Marlene Tappa. Frank Taylor.
Present.
Arthur Tyler, I'm here. Chanel Thomas Henry.
Here.
Hamlet Wallace.
Here.
Toy Washington Simon. Ed Wesley. Can I go through the ones I think I missed? Heiko. Sonia Deva Roberts. Mr. Gandhi. Mr. Gideon.
Mr. Gandhi is here, I think Ms. Reed said.
Mr. Gandhi is here, good. Mr. Gideon. Kevin Hughes, George Trulin, Stephen Kahanik, Marco Menendez, Veronica Neg, Lansinga Perez, Dorothy Phelan.
Dorothy's here.
Fahad Suleiman is trying to get in, but he could not, so call me. Fahad
Jairo
Suleiman.
Rodriguez.
No, he's not here right now.
David Rosero.
Not here right now.
Jimmy Smith. Farad. Marlene Tappa. Frank Taylor.
And
Toy
Fahad
Washington.
Fahad just came in. Fahad
Who
Salam.
came in?
Frank Taylor's here.
Hi,
Present.
good evening, everyone.
Okay, you can put yourself on mute, Fahad.
Who was that?
I'm doing good. How are you? How is everyone?
Well, I still didn't get who was it?
Frank Taylor's here. Frank Taylor. Present.
Frank Taylor is here. All right, good. Frank Taylor.
Mr. Gideon is trying to
Toy
get in.
Washington and Ed West. All
This
right, good.
conference will now be recorded.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
All right, how many people? I think
How many people did it? 36 present.
very good. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Arthur, Mr. Gandhi is online as well. You called him, he's online.
And Ms.
Yes,
Reed,
I have Mr. Gandhi is here. Yeah.
Ms.
we're-
Reed, Mr. Gideon is
Yes.
trying to, but he's having a little problem. So Mr. Gideon will be in soon. So I think most people are on. So we're going to start. So we're going to start with Marlene Tapper just came in. You can write that down, Arthur.
All right.
All right. Clara, can you please be a backup in regards to the votes? Take account of everyone because we want to have a backup for Arthur, okay?
Yes, got it.
All right,
All right.
I have 37 present.
Very good. So more people are coming in, okay, Arthur? But at least we have a quorum and we'll start. All right, so we'll start with our public information, and those that speak in this session, they'll be speaking, and there's no questions at that time, but we do have that opportunity to ask questions in public information. So Bradley, can you speak?
Yes, good evening. My name is Brad Bradley, and thank you very much for hearing me tonight, Community Board. I've been a resident of Jackson Heights for 17 years, and I've been a very proud member. And after this past year and a half, I've become even more infatuated with the neighborhood. And as I've seen other neighborhoods in the city start to kind of drowned. Jackson Heights has survived, and it's become really scrappy. And along with that, the economy is becoming different. We have a lot of outdoor venues, and that's wonderful. But on top of that, the trash is becoming unbelievable, and it feels unsafe and it feels unsanitary. For example, on my street alone, on the corner of 83rd and Roosevelt, it's called the shitting corner because there are piles of human.
Brad, we're not
No.
going to use that language,
Yeah,
but you can
Oh no.
continue.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
That by T-Mobile, and that is the nickname of that corner because there is piles of human feces that I step over every day and is on the walls, and there are people sleeping there, and this is on my block every morning. There's trash, and I have to pick it up. And I've complained to the police. I've complained to 311. I've complained to Moya. I've complained to DROM. I've been complaining about this for 6 months. And the store at that corner has also went out of business because it feels so unsafe. So thank you very much for hearing me. And
Thank you, Brad. And please note that you can definitely submit the pictures and your
I have.
complaint.
I
to
have.
community. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
it's been done several times. Thank you.
Thank you.
Max has the information.
No, it's not Max, but Queens Community Board 3. Yeah. So thank you and have a good day. And please stay at the meeting. Assemblyman Gonzalez Rojas. Are you here? Is she here, Ms.
Hey
Reed?
everyone. My name is Melina and I'm Assembly Member Gonzalez Rojas, District Director. Unfortunately, I'm having a bit of tech issues here, but the Assembly Member can't be with us. She got pulled into a mandatory committee meeting. So I'll just put my information in the chat and we'll seat our time because I know you guys have a packed agenda. Thank you.
All right, so what you can do towards the end, if you have a few items, you can definitely talk when we do have our legislative report, okay?
You got it, thank you.
Okay, have a good day. So is our captain here from the 115th precinct, Captain Altahiri? Is he here, Ms. Reed? I don't see.
I'm with my community affairs. We're sharing the same phone.
Let me tell you, I'd like to let everyone know that the Community Board 3 was part of the process in selecting our new CO for the 115th precinct. And I was happy to sit on the panel. And just by seeing his resume and then when having the opportunity to meet him, I was excited, and I know he will be a plus to our community. And we will all grow to get to know him, and we really appreciate his service. And he's a well-rounded, well-educated, he speaks multiple languages, and he's well experienced in the field. So he's a true a professional. So there you go, Captain Altahiri, welcome.
Well, thank you, Rena, for the warm welcoming, and I just wanted to thank the community board for giving me this opportunity. I look forward to getting to know you a lot better and some of the issues that were addressed as well. Hopefully we can address them more effectively. A little bit about myself. I'll keep it very, very brief. I have about 17 years service in NYPD. I worked in various precincts. I was undercover for about 6 years in narcotics as well as a human trafficking team. I was a sergeant in internal affairs, housing. I was a lieutenant in transit, as well as the 70th precinct. And I was an executive in the 20th precinct as well as the 23rd in Spanish Harlem. And my last assignment was executive officer in Central Harlem in the 32nd precinct. I'm also an FBI Academy graduate. I have master's degrees in human resource management, and I was also a college grad from Brooklyn College, as well as other things. But I hope to use some of my personal experiences as well as my professional experience to hopefully make this community a lot safer and the quality of life of its residents a lot more better. I know what gentleman he did mention about the homeless issue in 83rd Street and Roosevelt Avenue. I actually I worked in homeless outreach unit as a lieutenant briefly when they started the new initiative from the mayor's office. So I really I understand your concerns. Just recently, yesterday, we actually did a cleanup on 82nd Street and 37th Avenue in front of Leslie Ramos's office. So we were so hopefully I did I did note that address above, but hopefully we could get like a sort of a list of some of the main concerns you have, and we'll definitely update you on our follow-up. So thank you again, briefly, for giving me this opportunity, and I hope to answer some of the questions you may have.
All right. So what we'll do is, I'd like for the PO Gonzalez to speak, and then we'll follow up with the questions. So if you have any questions, we'll take a few questions, everybody, and then we'll have our CO come in, because I want to give for you to meet our new community affairs officer. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Byron Gonzalez. I'm the new community affairs officer. I've been in the 115 for about 5 years, so I'm familiar with the area over here. And I'm just very excited to meet everybody, very excited to work together with everybody. Any new ideas that you have, I'd love to hear them. If you guys need any help, any permits, stuff like that, we can work on something together, see what we can get done. I'll make sure to throw my office number and my email in the chat, so that if you guys ever need to reach me, by all means, message me, call me, whatever it is that you guys may need. We'll try and see if we can find a solution for you, okay?
All right, wonderful. So we welcome you, and we're excited to have you.
Thank you very much.
Renetta, we have a question from Margaret Flanagan.
Yeah, I see those questions there, and I just wanted to mention that we do appreciate the service of Detective Johnson, and she served us for many, many years, so we must remember her also. So and again, we look forward to your work, and we expect great things from you, Gonzalez. So we'd like to request the captain to come back in.
Absolutely.
We'll announce the individuals in the chat that had questions. And when she calls on your name, can you please unmute yourself? And then you can mute yourself back again. So Margaret Flanagan, you're the first person that's up.
Thank you, and thank you all for what you do in our neighborhood from the precinct. I wanted to ask what additional things you might be able to do to please be preventative about burglary, particularly around cars. In a recent incident, I was at my back door and I witnessed a man and a woman walking down the street, literally trying to break into cars, pulling on doors, looking through windows with an empty luggage rolly bag by them. And when I called 911, you know, the response was not very motivated about trying to prevent them. I was told, well, if they actually didn't break in, there's nothing we can do.
I just want to say I apologize for that misguided advice by the officer. Obviously, I was reviewing a lot of the complaints we had. I noticed that there was an uptick in car break-ins. So I noticed as well that some of the people that did report that their car was broken into, not broken into, but somehow gained entry and they stole items there. So that does raise the question that there is some people out there that actually walking around attempting to open vehicles and possibly gaining entry. So that's something that we look forward to addressing. Also, we had recently a commercial truck which was recently broken into, and they stole about $5,000 worth of tools. So we want to educate the public to obviously make sure that their cars are secure, because there are people out there that see if this car is open or not. And we had one incident where someone actually left the key inside the car. I know a lot of the new cars now are like very high tech, so you just press the button and the key is there. We might forget to use the car keys sometimes, because we got so used to just having the key near us that we forget to take the key out of the car with us. So that's something we hope to do. I mean, educate the public through some of our social media, but as well as educate our officers that to actually take a little look about some of the suspicious activity that you just mentioned.
Okay, the next question, Ms. Reed.
The next question is Richard Perez.
Richard, can you unmute yourself, please?
Hi, everyone, and thank you for having me. My name is Richard Perez, and I live across the street from Gorman Park, 85th Street and 25th Avenue. And the reason, can you hear me?
Say it again. Go ahead, Richard.
My name is Richard Perez. I live across the street from Gorman Park on 85th Street and 25th Avenue. And I want to report a recent development. It's been happening for about a year now, where there's a large group, about 30 men, the ages 30 to 40 years old, who get together to play volleyball, which is in itself not a problem. But what they do is a big problem, which is they drink, they sell food illegally, they're drinking alcohol, they make people feel unsafe walking by there. My daughter, for example, has to take alternate routes home so she doesn't walk through a crowd of 30 and 40 men who are inebriated making comments to her. They pee openly against the trees. There are children playing in the park. There are teenagers playing in the park, kids of all genders. They should be able to move around in the park with a kind of freedom. These men pee, brashly will start peeing, and we have about 50 pictures. And there are more. They actually pee right in front of my house the other day. And this is not a new thing now with them. The other thing they do is they blast music. This is 7 days a week. So the quality of our life has been, for over the last year, has been really compromised. They blast music 7 days a week. I think they must think they're in a bar or in a hangout, that they're allowed to act this way. But it's very troubling, and it's really infringing upon and violating the quality of our lives. And this is not just me. This is all our neighbors who live around the park. We're all shocked by this. And we want to know, I have a question, Miss English. What is it that we can do to address this?
All right, go ahead. I know there's another neighbor here, Hermino, who wanted to do you want to piggyback on him and then have the answer question by the CO? Can you just say your comment quickly and then we'll have the CO answer?
Okay, I just want to piggyback on what Richard Perez says. He's my neighbor, and I've been a resident here, a homeowner for the past 33 years. I'm one of the oldest homeowners in this area, and it's only been in the past couple of years that we've having an influx. And not to say anything about any race or what have you, but most of these people here are all Hispanics. They're Uber drivers, and we have an influx of taxi drivers that come in here. I have been in contact with Miss Reed. I've been sending her photos every single day. She's been trying to work with us, myself and Richard. There has been not much, but there has been a change, and I have spoken to several parks officers that come by. A lot of them come by, and they're actually afraid of approaching these people. Okay, because I've spoken to several of them, and they told me, he says, listen, there's over 50 guys out there, and every time we approach these people, they all come in a bunch and they say, leave these people alone, and we have no way of protecting ourselves. Okay, and I sit here. I'm a retired MTA. My wife is a retired former Tyrol detective. Okay, 911. Okay, I have an EMS. My daughter's an EMS. My son is a fireman. Okay, we go through this every single day. Okay, and it starts at 12 noon and it doesn't end till like 9 in the evening. Okay, and I think this is a little bit outrageous.
All right, so we'll let the CO respond to that. Thank you both. Go ahead,
Okay.
CO.
Thank you for that, bringing up that concern. Actually, it was brought to my attention about that park. Most recently, about 2 hours ago, from Councilman Francisco Mayo, we had a meeting, and he actually mentioned the issues in that park regarding the loud music, the alcohol drinking. And also about 3 days ago, we did have a meeting with the executive staff of Parks Department, and they did mention along those lines about the need for more enforcement. And it's funny that you did mention that a lot of times the park park police, or what you want to say, park enforcement agents go out there, they feel intimidated, and that is very true. And that's something that we could work with them to make sure that they have enough support. I was not aware how serious it was. The way you said that it was every day since 12 noon. That's something that I'm very concerned about as a commanding officer, because I have the responsibility to make sure that that these concerns are being addressed. I think that's something we could do as a police department. The steady sectors, the NCOs should be aware of these parks. They should definitely make the visits. I think if there's enough police presence, I think we should at least stop some of the loud music and maybe some of the alcohol drinking that's occurring there. I definitely will follow up after this phone call in regards to that park, because the summer days are approaching, and we want to make sure that this doesn't become a continuous problem.
Okay, thank you. So they will be looking for follow-up, and I know Ms. Reed will also follow up with you. And thank you, gentlemen, for bringing your issue to the board. Ms. Reed, I think we have time for 2 more questions.
Miss English, I have a question. Abdul Rahim Hawladar. I didn't check.
Wait, no, Abdul. There's other people ahead of you. So let me just look and see. Ms. Reed? Right, let me look and see who's there. Sorry, let me just look and see. All right. So it's in the chat there. You can also we're not going to get to everything, CO, so you can look in the chat to just see.
Miss Tapper had a question.
Okay, and everyone thanks you for going to prayers. I know that you went to around there. Okay, Miss Tapper, followed by followed by Nula, and then Abdur. So that'll be our last ones. Okay, go ahead.
Captain, welcome. It's glad to see you here, and you have an impressive resume. I'll keep it short. I'm very concerned about the trucks, the trucks that people have around the community that they cook. One of the problems is sanitation, and for the homeowners. I'm on the side by Astoria Boulevard, not 89th Street, not too far from the 115th. We have 3 trucks over there. One of the problems that I've seen there, and also in front of my eye doctor on 74th and between 73rd, 37th by Roosevelt, his office, for example, is always being ticketed, and they're not open on Sunday. And the trucks are leaving grease. The grease causes rats and mice. That then transfers to the homes. So that's my problem with the trucks. The food is fabulous, but there has to be a sanitation, and it's not fair. They're in front of people's businesses or in front of people's homes next door. Those are the people who get ticketed. And I'm more concerned about the rats and the mice they bring to the community unfairly. Thank you.
Question. We just have 2, and I just wanted to follow. We have 2 more people that are asking questions after this. It's going to be Nula, followed by Abdur. That's it. All right, go ahead, Theo.
I can answer. Okay. I just thank you for bringing that up, because when I was the executive officer of the 20th precinct, we had similar complaints about a lot of these food trucks, and they're leaving the grease out, and it definitely causes disturbance and does definitely attract, like you mentioned, the mice. There are certain codes that we can actually enforce, even at our level as a police department. If you look forward to if you give me like exact location, we'll definitely visit them, at least speak to them at first and let them know what the concerns are of the community. And then going forward, there are certain sanitation codes as well as environmental codes that we can actually enforce on these trucks. So, and then in addition to notifying consumer affairs and other authorities. So if you give me some locations, we definitely like to speak to them first to let them know what the concern, because a lot of times I notice that a lot of issues that we have as a community, and that's I'm not saying this is the case in this part, but a lot of times they're not aware of the complaints of the community. It's funny because you go there, you're like, you know what you're doing, you explain to them, they're like, oh, I don't know, I'm not. They don't even know what they're doing. They don't even know if they're
Not
doing
to
it
cut you
wrong.
off,
Yeah.
Commander, a lot of these know because previous commanders used to tow their trucks and put them by City Field for violation.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right, thank
That's a whole different story. So yeah, I'll definitely follow up. Yeah, on that those trucks.
I'll send a list to your community affairs.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
thank you so much. So can you just let them know the languages that you speak, and then we'll follow by Nula, and then we'll follow by Abdur. So can you just tell everyone what the different languages that you speak, CO?
I was trying to speak English, but I speak Spanish, but also Arabic. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good. All right, Nula, go ahead.
Hi, Commander. Welcome to the neighborhood. We're excited to have you here. I do want to bring up a long-standing problem, and that is the problem on 94th Street between 35th and 37th Avenue. It's not a new problem. There's been a long-standing drug spot there for decades now, and it's concerning because it's right across the street from a local elementary school, PS 280. What you'll see if you go by there right now are a large group of young men and women hanging out inside cars. They literally cook on the sidewalk. They sleep in the cars. They hang out there 24/7. The people in the buildings have been intimidated for years. They won't make complaints. They won't speak to the police. They're terrified of retaliation. I mean, there have been search warrants and wiretaps, yet the problem persists. Whether it's because of the Trinitario gang angle or just the fact that they're selling drugs, but they have complete control of that block. There's no easy answer to it, but I just want to make sure you're aware of this ongoing problem and see what we can do to address it with the other specialized units.
Thank you, Nula. So you have that that she's written down there. And just again, if Byron Gonzalez, you can just put his contact information so everyone knows where to email him any issues. Please use the community board as a resource. So Abdur, are you here?
Yes, hi.
Go ahead. You're the last question.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. This is Abdul Rahim Hauladar. I'm the board member, Community Board 3. Okay, my question is actually the complaint on Roosevelt Avenue and corner of 72nd Street. If you come from Broadway to drive to Broadway on 72nd Street, that is a one-way street. Before you hit the Roosevelt Avenue, on the right-hand side, there is a grocery on the Nepali grocery in the corner, and there is a printing press in the back. And that place is so many complaints I get from there. So many people, I mean, drug selling people are there, and they sell the drug and they drink beer there, alcohol there. They put the alcohol in the soda can, I mean the Coca-Cola can, and then they are drinking alcohol, but they hide. They say they are drinking like soda. But they are, my office is on 73rd and Roosevelt. 25 years I'm running business there. I go all the time there, and every summertime, so many drug dealers are there. When the customer come, they go behind the building, and there's a private parking lot, and they sell the drug there, and then they come front again. So it's happening like couple of years now, and it's coming every summertime. It's coming, more people are coming there, and they're sitting there. They're all the time sitting in the front of the storage, and they're selling the drugs, and they're drinking alcohol in the street. So those store and the owner and the printing press owner complain me. They have the picture also. They complain so many times in the prison. They call prison so many times also. So please take care of that. Thank you.
So you have the go ahead, Theo.
Yeah, I just wanted from the last I guess comment or question that was mentioned about the Trinitarios game. I'm really familiar with them when I was working as undercover. So I just want to, let people know that we definitely are aware of their activities in the area, and obviously we'll do our best as long as the law allows us to do so to effectively address some of their gang criminal activities in the area. There's a new offshoot gang that they're just started to create, and a lot of they're Trinitarios, but they're more younger crowd. They're offshoot of it. A lot of the problem is that they're very young kids, and it's sad to see young kids take that route. But a lot of them are like the 14, 15 years old, and they're still, some of them are still in middle school. So hopefully going forward with some of the tasks that I have the new community affairs officer, as well as we're looking for a new community affairs, is to to reach out into these schools, try to catch these kids where they're still young, and hopefully guide them and help them through, and not choose a life of crime or gang, and maybe hopefully give them alternatives. But the second question about Roosevelt, we just did a walkthrough yesterday, me and the community affairs officer, as well as the crime prevention officer, Officer Horn, and we did it yesterday as well as today. So we did walk through the entire Roosevelt Avenue, and I did notice some of the concerns that you mentioned about some of the blocks I walked. I saw alcohol on the street, and in the late hours of last night, I did see a few people who looked intox, who were walking around, and maybe there was a lot of garbage in the area. So that I'm very aware of it, and hopefully my community affairs officers will, going forward, address some of those quality of life concerns. I know it can be, very disturbing if you have a business and you walk outside and you see garbage, or you see people maybe blocking pedestrian traffic and drinking. So thank you for your concerns. I'll do my best to effectively address it. We can't solve. I'm not going to say I'm going to come here and solve every single situation, but together as a team, I think we come up with maybe comprehensive solutions, and maybe hopefully not temporary solutions, but look for long-term solutions.
All right. Thank you so much, CO.
Thank you.
We welcome you, and we look forward to a long and very positive relationship with you and the 115 precinct.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you can definitely look in the chat and you'll see some comments in there, but we'll move on. And I'd like to bring up our next speaker, and I'd like to thank him for his patience. Jeffrey Weiss. As you know, everyone, the community board pushed it. Our census is key. And now we're going to talk. All right, so Mr. Weiss, I'm going to give you the ability to share your screen. Let me just look. See how I miss Kevin here? So let's see. Here we go. So there you go, Mr. Weiss.
Okay, and should I just go ahead and start?
No, you have to. You'll receive something on your screen to tell you to show you. Very good. So now you can.
Okay. Now
put that in presenter mode. Yeah.
Not yet. Okay.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So you see this on your full screens? I need to shrink on my screen so I can see what I'm talking about. Okay. Well, let me just give me 1 second. My screen is being taken up a lot by this information. Well,
we see your presentation.
Okay, great. Well, good evening, everybody. Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Jeff Weiss. I am an adjunct professor and senior fellow at New York Law School in Lower Manhattan. I'm also a veteran of the past 4 redistricting cycles in New York, working for the state legislature and the city council. I am a former member of Brooklyn Community Board 9, and it was great to see NYPD before me because I also serve as a sergeant in the NYPD auxiliary. But tonight I'm going to be talking about your future, that being the redistricting process. You'll see a puzzle here, and hopefully by the end of my short presentation, you'll have a better idea of what redistricting is all about. Now, I need to find a way to advance my screen. I might have to do this visual. You'll have to do it one at a time. But what is redistricting? Why does it matter? Well, redistricting determines your better community resources, your dollars, and power. There are over 300 federal programs driven by census data. And of those 300, for 16 programs alone, each New Yorker benefits on a per capita basis by about $2,600. That's healthcare, education, school lunch, transportation, just 16 of 300 programs. Redistricting also looks at political power. During World War II, New York State had about 45 members of Congress. Now we have 27, the same number the state had during the 1820s. And as you've all heard, New York is losing 1 congressional district this year. In terms of what districts look like, You see here New York City's congressional districts, each about 700,000 people. This slide shows you Senate districts, about 300,000 people each. And these here are your state assembly districts, about 130,000 people each. So where are we today? The census took place last year. Due to the pandemic, everything got delayed. Census counting was delayed. President Trump's efforts to add a citizenship question that failed took up time and depressed the census count. And with the delays in the census process, the data delivery of the information needed to draw new district lines has been delayed as well. Now, a few terms you need to know about. Reapportionment is the reallocation of 435 congressional districts among 50 states, and that was announced April 26th. Redistricting is different. Redistricting is the actual redrawing within a state or within a city of district boundaries for Congress, the Senate, the Assembly, and City Council. Rough data, we call it legacy data, will arrive by August 16th, and final data by September 30th. The data includes information based on a block-by-block basis, data on race, age, and ethnicity. As I mentioned before, here that you see the populations of the current congressional, Senate, and Assembly districts, and we're down one congressional district next year. There are 3 laws that govern redistricting. We have the U.S. Constitution's one person, one vote requirement that each district have the same number of people as all the other districts. The Federal Voting Rights Act kicks in where you have high incidence of racially polarized voting, where the white voters deny communities of color their ability to elect candidates that they prefer. And then third, we have the New York State Constitution, which was amended a few years ago through a vote of the people, and that's going to take up most of my presentation time. I mentioned that the data comes, it's called PL 94-171 data after the federal law that created this program, and provides the information by race, age, and ethnicity. And I'm going to go a bit quickly because I usually do this presentation in about 35-40 minutes. I'm trying to condense it into about 15 minutes. Now, New York State has a new independent redistricting commission to draw congressional and state legislative lines. There are 10 members, 8 appointed by the legislative leaders. Here you see the Assembly Speaker and the Senate President's appointees. We have the 4 appointees by the Republican minority leaders, and these 8 people pick 2 independents who aren't registered either as Democrats or Republicans, and you see their names here. The commission has to select 1 member as chair, but they've been deadlocked so far on 5-5 votes. The state legislature appropriated $4 million for the commission to operate through next year, and they've selected 2 co-executive directors as required by the Constitution. The commission is tasked with following certain criteria, several of which have not been part of the requirements in the past. The first 2 are federal requirements: population equality and compliance with the Voting Rights Act. But districts also need to be compact, more or less square, rectangular, circular, but not have 55, 100 different jagged edges. Districts need to be contiguous. You need to be able to go from one point of a district to another and not leave the district. You want to keep communities of interest intact, and I believe CB3 with Jackson Heights, as a major community. A community of interest are areas where people have like-minded interests, whether they be community boundaries, neighborhood boundaries, socioeconomic, by race, by ethnicity, hospital communities, college communities, but keep people together where they live. You're also supposed to follow jurisdictional boundaries. That won't be as important in Queens because all the Assembly, the Senate districts within Queens will be within Queens County, although because of population requirements, congressional districts, as your district shows, might cross into other counties, such as the district that you are in now, where it extends from Queens to the Bronx. The Constitution also has consideration of not pairing incumbents together into the same district, and also to provide partisan fairness that no political party is favored over another. Now, bear with me now because the constitutional requirements for districting get to be a little bit tricky. The commission is allowed to submit up to 2 sets of plans for the Congress and legislature to the state legislature for approval. Because the commission calls itself independent on paper, but it reports to the legislature. And the legislature can reject the first map. They have to go back and draw a second set of maps. On a third set, if the second set of maps is rejected, then the legislature can develop its own plans on a third round. And for each of these rounds, until a plan is approved, the governor must approve or veto the plans. And these new lines will be in place for 2022 elections next year. In terms of the time frame, I already mentioned that the block by block racial, age, and ethnic data will be delivered by the summer. The commission will have 3 or 4 months to develop plans with the data. That's down from the 9 months they had anticipated based on what the law says, not what the pandemic lets us do. The commission is supposed to have a draft map out by September 15th of this year. That might be a stretch given the time frame we'll be finding out. The commission has to hold hearings all around the state on their draft maps, and there will be one hearing in Queens County. And that the commission itself and the legislature have different kinds of rules in place on how to approve a plan. And right now, under the current situation in Albany, because the Democrats control both the Assembly and the Senate, then you need 7 of the 10 commissioners to approve a plan, but having at least 1 appointee from each of the 4 legislative leaders vote to approve a plan. Let me get to my next slide here. And the commission now has until January 1st with a grace period of January 15th to get their plans to the legislature, but there'll be a pending constitutional amendment you're going to be asked to vote on that sets that deadline hard and fast to January 1st. And again, I'll just go through this rather quickly. The legislature and governor can reject the first set of maps. On a second set of maps, the legislature can accept or reject them. Of course, the governor has to approve it. Right now, Democrats have 2/3 majorities or supermajorities in both the Senate and the Assembly. So the governor, if he vetoes the plan, could be overridden. And I show here in my slide that no governor in New York State has vetoed a redistricting plan for the legislature or Congress since Franklin Roosevelt in 1931. Now, if the commission does agree on a plan that goes to the legislature, within the legislature itself, because Democrats control both chambers, then at least 2/3 of the members of each chamber must approve a commission plan. Again, since the Democrats do have 2/3 control of both chambers, they have that kind of power now. The way this amendment was drafted back in 2012 and approved by the voters in 2014, the Republican Senate at that time helped draft this. They never thought they'd lose the majority, but years later, they've lost both the Senate and haven't had control of the Assembly in over 45 years. Just quickly to wrap things up a bit, the plans, whether by the commission or by the legislature, can be challenged in state court, and that if the courts reject the plans for whatever reasons, then the legislature itself will draw the remedial plans. Now, one piece of unfinished business, and bear with me here now, in 2010, the legislature enacted a law that reallocates prisoners housed upstate in penitentiaries from the prison location where the census counts them to their homes of record prior to incarceration. This practice was called prison gerrymandering. It's favoring a partisan group over another, here favoring rural areas where prisoners basically filled up space but weren't active players or participants in their communities. And as a result, in 2010, about 30,000 New York prisoners were reallocated by their addresses back to their homes of record prior to incarceration, and that provided for more accurate numbers in New York City and many of the upstate cities where, unfortunately, most of the prisoners came from. This provision was left out of the 2014 amendment, and the pending amendment you'll be voting on in November would make this permanent, but also add doing this for Congress in addition to the 2010 laws mandate for only the Assembly and the Senate. The amendment you'll be voting on in November, which will change the rules of redistricting halfway through the process, will simply require that any 7 commission members are necessary to approve a plan, not having 1 member from each of the 4 legislative leader appointments. It sets a January 1st hard and fast deadline for the commission's first plan to go to the legislature. If that's rejected, then the commission only has until January 15th to submit a second plan. And again, I show you here some of the parameters that, but it changes, whereas you need 2/3 of a vote in the legislature under the current law. The amendment would change this to a simple majority of the memberships. But if the commission itself doesn't develop a plan, then you must have 60% in each chamber to approve. But they have those 60%. They've got over that now in both chambers. The amendment also sets the size of the Senate at 63 districts. The reason for that is that while the Republicans controlled the Senate for each of the last 40 years, they added 1 district to its membership each decade to compensate for population losses upstate, so they didn't lose their power. Okay, and then just to give you a flavor of some of the numbers, what you see here for your Congressional District 14, Senate Districts 13 and 16, and Assembly Districts 34, 35, and 39 are some of the numbers. The new average population for a congressional district will go up from 707,000 to nearly 750,000 people. Senate districts will increase by about 20,000 people each, and assembly districts by about 4,000 or 5,000 people each. Now, congressional districts must be of exactly equal population. They can't vary by more than 1 person. That may sound phenomenal, but each district is within 1 person. However, for the Assembly and the Senate, districts can actually vary by up to 10%, plus or minus 5, plus 7, minus 3. And these numbers here that you see are based on the current district populations, their estimates. So you see for CD 14, 696,664 people. That means with New York losing a congressional district, so the whole dynamic changes. That district still needs to pick up about 51,000 people. Because congressional districts must be at 0 difference, you can see it is short nearly 7% of a district's necessary population. For the Senate, for the Assembly, you're allowed more variation, but you can see that in ADs 34, 35, and 39 on the right, each of the districts is considerably short population, but there is more variance allowable for assembly redistricting, and we'll see what the commission or the legislature comes up with. To conclude, learn this process. I'm giving you a half-hour presentation condensed into now about 14 minutes. Follow the new commission's work. They don't have their telephone or their email address or their office yet, but they will soon. You can testify when the commission comes to Queens. You can write to the commission. You can talk about redistricting with the newspapers. You can hold more informational meetings like this one. So I've kept to my, there's also New York City Council redistricting, which I won't have time to get into. That takes place next year. I want to thank you all very much for the time. I'd be glad to answer a few questions. No quiz now. I know I went through a lot of material very quickly, but wanted to make sure you got the big picture of what was going on this year. So thank you very much, and I'll stick around for a few questions if there are any.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss, for a very detailed presentation. Does anyone have any questions? If you do, please type. Mark?
Thanks, Renetta, and thank you very much, Mr. Weiss. So my question, the constitutional amendment that's up for a vote in November seems to have a whole lot of different things in it. Is your general sense of it is that it's a good governance type of amendment, or is it a more partisan type of effort?
It's got this is my personal view, it's got more good in it than controversial. The Republicans claim that by taking away the requirement that minority members, the Republican members, have to buy in to approve a plan, that could be seen as giving the majority all the control. But just be mindful that no other part of state law, the state constitution, singles out favoritism for a political party one over another. This equalizes things. It also reforms the size of the Senate, the prison gerrymandering issue. It sets better deadlines to deal with the pandemic caused delays. Plus, when the amendment was adopted in 2014, New York still had a fall primary. Now the primary is held in June, which means that redistricting must wrap up by January so that petitioning for office could begin in late February, March, and give the city BOE enough time to digest the new data and to change election districts within assembly districts. So it's got some good, it's got some controversy, but my view is that it will clean up some of the shortcomings of the 2014 amendment.
Great, thank you.
All right, so the next question, we have one more after Lobsang. It's Lobsang. If anyone else, can you please type in the chat? Lobsang, unmute yourself.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, the census. Okay, I work.
Unmute yourself.
You hear me?
Now
you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Ask your question.
Yeah, I work for the Census Bureau, but it wasn't that easy to collect the data anyway. But so by looking at the current data, I mean, can you tell like the possibility of the losing seat, whether it's from like New York City area or outside the city area?
It's hard to say now because all we have is the state population total and projections from 2019 of what county populations look like. What was surprising when we learned the state population total of 20 some odd million people on April 26th was that the state's population grew by 4% from 2010 to 2020. I say that in the context that the Census Bureau projected that New York gained population in each of 2010 through 2016, yet during the Trump years, New York population declined because the doors were shut to new immigrants, which represented the entire number of new New Yorkers that came in from 2010 to 2016. So we were surprised that the state grew when we knew that there were decreases by the projections in the last years of the decade. My concern now is, and we'll find out, whether the communities that were counted in the census came in adequately to fill out the numbers. There were major census low response rates in the Elmhurst area, for example. So when we get the data in the summer, we'll actually see block by block what the numbers look like, and then that will determine how the districts get drawn, since each district has to have enough people to fill out the district.
All right, I know that Nuala had a question, but I think you answered it, that you're still waiting for the numbers to come in, correct?
Right, we'll get the numbers in August, and then late August we'll have a much better sense whether districts came in at what was expected population-wise, or were seriously undercounted, where district lines will shift to make up for the population losses. That we have to wait to find out about.
And can you do us a favor? I figure CUNY is going to create a report based upon all of that. So if you have a report that you want to share with the community board, I'd be appreciative, or a link or anything.
I'm guessing that the city planning department will have a lot to say once the data comes out. I work very closely with city planning and with the CUNY mapping service, so we'll wait and see.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you, Mr. Weiss. You did a wonderful job. And
Okay, thank you all very much. Great to be back at the community board meeting after a few years away from the one I used to belong to.
Okay, wonderful. And thanks for accepting.
Okay. Good night.
Good night. All right, so everyone, the public had an opportunity to ask questions in the public information and public participation. Now we're going into public hearings where the public can also have some questions. So the first public hearing, I'll bring up our land use chair, Hamlet Wallace, who will introduce our speakers.
Okay, good evening, everybody. The Land Use Committee tonight is presenting two zoning text amendments. One is called Zoning for Accessibility, which is involving subway station elevators, or just to address improving the subway system in terms of accessibility for everybody. And also hotel tax amendment, which might require a special permit for all new hotel development. I'd like to invite Ms. Kathy Coe from the Department of City Planning up to give her presentation to us. Ms. Coe.
And Ms. Coe, I just made you the presenter. Did you see a button pop up on your screen? So you have to, very good. So you can unmute yourself. Yes. And you can put your presentation in present. You're open to places, or somebody else has to mute them. Let's mute them. Okay, I think we're good. So go ahead, Kathy Coe.
Apologies. Also, my computer's been quite slow today, so just bear with me. Good evening, everybody. My name is Kathy Coe. I'm a city planner, the community board liaison for Board 3. And with me tonight, we have Win-Sun Park. Are you here, Win-Sun? Right here. Here we go. I'll give you a minute to introduce yourself before we dive into the presentation.
Hi, I'm Win-Sun Park with the MTA. Thank you for your time this evening.
I'm so sorry. It looks like I accidentally X'd out of this. Okay, here we go. So,
you should be able to just click on the screen at the bottom. You see the little screen icon. All right, I'll take it back and give it back to you.
Getting there.
All right,
my mouse is just. It's okay. I'm just going to use my touch screen monitor to get there.
All right, so what I'll do is I'll take it back and send it and give it back to you, okay? Oh, you got it. Very good.
Oh, I think it's up. Yeah. Are we good? Okay. I'm gonna sorry, I have a bunch of windows to move over. And I'm actually gonna turn off my video for the presentation. Just again, my computer's been a little bit funny, but I'll come back for questions. Give me one moment. And Win-Sun, I'm gonna, I'll go ahead and steer the presentation, but when you're ready for me to go to the next slide, just let me know. Say next slide, please, or something.
Okay. So you want me to start?
Yeah. Is it full screen? Can we all see this?
It is full screen now.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, you can go right ahead.
Great. Good evening, everyone. My name is Win-Sun Park. I am with the MTA. Thank you so much for your time this evening. So the MTA, the Department of City Planning, and the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities are proposing a citywide zoning text amendment to provide more opportunities for the MTA to collaborate with developers to get to system-wide accessibility more quickly. This initiative comes out of a 2019 City Council report called Zoning for Transit Accessibility, which recommended zoning changes to increase transit accessibility. So our proposal includes two components. The first component is a system-wide transit easement requirement. The second component is an expansion of a transit improvement bonus to the highest density areas in the city. Our presentation tonight focuses on the first one, the easement requirement, because the bonus, the transit improvement bonus, is not currently applicable to Community District 3. Next slide, Kathy, please. So our subway system is very old. It started construction over 100 years ago, and most of our stations were built before 1950, which makes making them ADA accessible very, very challenging. But the MTA, we've made progress in increasing accessibility. We added 11 new We made 11 stations ADA accessible last year, but we still have a long way to go. Right now, 136 out of the 493 subway and Staten Island railway stations are accessible, which comes out to about 28% of all stations. And 25 out of the 39 commuter rail stations in New York City are currently accessible. Next slide, please. So what that means is when you have less than a third of our subway stations accessible, it makes navigating the subway system very difficult for those who require an accessible station. And this affects riders with ambulatory disabilities, seniors, parents and guardians with young children, people with temporary injuries. So someone who requires an accessible station will often have to take a circuitous trip if they need an elevator at their station, which adds many more minutes to their ride. Next slide, please. So here's a map of Community District 3, and just to show you which stations are currently accessible, which is the 74th Street, Broadway, Jackson Heights transfer station, as well as Junction Boulevard. Kathy will go into this a little bit more detail, but the proposal for easement requirement applies to all of the stations.
What are you doing?
He needs to use your charger. Can you use it, please?
The charger's not working.
Go to the next slide, please. So of the 2.3 million Queens residents, you can see the numbers of how many are potentially affected at any time by the lack of a fully accessible system. 133,000 Queens residents have an ambulatory disability. 150,000, there are 150,000 children under the age of 5, and 340,000 Queens residents 65 and older. And we see this situation become more pressing because the number of New Yorkers over 65 is growing at a faster rate than the total population as a whole. Next slide. The MTA is fully committed to station accessibility. In our current capital plan, we dedicate more than $5 billion towards making 77 more subway and commuter rail stations accessible within New York City. So what that means is that when the capital program is complete, 43% of our subway stations will be fully accessible. And we will meet our goal in the current capital plan that no subway rider will be more than 2 stations away from an accessible station anywhere in the city. But we need more tools in our toolbox to help us get to system-wide accessibility much faster. This proposal is such a tool. I also want to add that this proposal, Zoning for Accessibility, is not intended to replace any of our capital commitments. Our capital program is not going anywhere. It's only intended to supplement our capital commitments and help us get to system-wide accessibility much faster. Next slide. So I want to explain why building and making stations accessible is so challenging for us. And not to say it's impossible, but it is challenging. As I mentioned, our stations are very old, and also we live in a very dense city. And so those two conditions alone make it harder. Just finding space to put an elevator inside of our stations is difficult. Many of our stations have narrow platforms. We also have stations that can be very tight. We have tight entrances, so just finding the space for where an elevator goes in the entrance area is challenging. But then not only inside of our stations, but outside of our stations, we face very difficult conditions. So especially in this community district along the 7 line, it's all elevated, and you might very well know that the elevated stations can be very, very close to the buildings. And so that leaves hardly any space to put an elevator on the sidewalk. So what do? Well, this proposal will help us address that very situation. And then it's not just it's not just the tightness of the sidewalks, but it's also what we don't see, which is what's underneath the sidewalks. So every time we put an elevator in the sidewalk or bumping out the sidewalk, which is something we also try to avoid because then it goes into the, we bump out into the street, is we're dealing with decades old infrastructure under the ground. We have Con Ed lines, sewer lines, water lines. So people often ask us, why is it taking so long to build that elevator? It's because oftentimes we are relocating lines that is underneath the street just to put that elevator into the sidewalk. So this proposal will help us actually speed up a lot of these conditions, and we can build elevators a lot more cheaply and also a lot more quickly. At this point, I am going to hand the presentation back to Kathy, who will explain the details of the proposal.
Thank you, Mun-Sun. Yeah, so as just explained, to address this myriad of really complex issues to making stations more accessible, ZFA, Zoning for Accessibility, is a framework that really seeks to increase accessibility, more opportunities to increase accessibility in the transit system. And today's zoning tools that are in place help alleviate some of these burdens and to support transit improvements. And two transit-related zoning regulations that are in place today are transit easement requirements and station improvement bonuses. And these regulations generally leverage station access improvements in placements where investment is already happening, and they make sure that opportunities for coordinating development and station improvements are evaluated and then actualized. So as a result, a station would get a better design inside, and it would result in a better sidewalk environment outside because the station entrance could potentially be located off the sidewalks. As seen on this slide on the right, we can see how an easement at the 20th Street 6 subway line station moved the entrance out of the right-of-way, therefore creating more space for pedestrians and better circulation. And an easement provision is basically a requirement that sites that are next to train stations provide space for future station access if it's determined that it's required by the MTA. The limitations around this today is that this requirement only applies to a few areas in the city. So there's currently no framework for securing these types of easements outside of those areas. And because of this, the MTA has really missed some opportunities to locate ADA access, especially at complex stations. On the right here, we can see the 4th Ave 9th Street station that connects to the R, F, and G. And this is an example of an adjacent building that could have provided additional access. And the first component of this proposal, again, the one we'll focus on tonight, is a system-wide easement requirement. And as part of this requirement, all developments and enlargements on zoning lots that are within 50 feet of a mass transit station in applicable zoning districts would need to file an application with the MTA and the chair of the City Planning Commission. Once they file an application, the MTA and the chair would determine whether or not an easement on the zoning lot is needed to help facilitate access improvements in the future. And the applicable districts include residential districts that support multifamily apartment buildings, which are generally more compatible with station access, well, with transit station access. And these districts include R5 with a commercial overlay, R5D districts, and districts with higher density levels. Medium and high density commercial and manufacturing districts would also be subject to this requirement, since developments in these districts are generally more easily able to accommodate these types of station entrances anyway. And while the process of getting a certification would be required for most sites within 50 feet of a station, it's likely that the MTA would only ask for an easement in places that really make the most sense for future transit access. So in other words, it would be a thoughtful case-by-case kind of consideration. And in order to facilitate easement requirements, there would be relief from certain zoning regulations provided in order to minimize any potential challenges for constructions on a site that's subject to the proposed requirement. So easement areas can affect development sites in a number of ways. Because the easement takes up floor space on a site, it can reduce available floor area for the development itself. The shape and size of an easement can occupy a large amount of space within a development building envelope, depending on the situation. But this could not only affect the direct area that's occupied by the easement, but it also could have implications for the construction feasibility around the site. Easements can also restrict available space to provide ground floor uses and parking spaces. So depending on the type of development, they might create compatibility issues with more sensitive uses like apartment units or other residential uses that would be, right above an easement. So without any zoning relief, easements could potentially limit the construction of a development to its full potential, and in certain situations can result in buildings that really lack a compatible relationship to the future easement. So if the easement regulation makes it challenging for a development to be built, it would make it more difficult for the transit agency to acquire the easement in the first place. So in order to maintain developable floor space and flexibility for locating easements, the following bulk relief would be provided. Easement areas would be excluded from zoning floor area, and they'd be allowed as permitted obstructions, and the maximum lot coverage could be increased in certain districts to make easement areas to be better integrated into the building. In addition, where there is an easement provided on developable floor area, maximum building heights could be increased by either 10 or 20 feet if an above grade easement is provided in an R7 district or higher. And to create better flow around easements, street wall flexibility would be granted within 15 feet of an easement. So in summary, ZFA proposes a zoning text amendment to establish a framework for coordinating station improvements and new developments on adjacent sites. As part of this framework, a consultation process would be required for all developments and enlargements that are within 50 feet of mass transit stations in applicable zoning districts. And when it's determined that an easement is needed, again on a case-by-case basis, relief from certain zoning rules would be provided in order to minimize potential challenges. For sites that are less than 5,000 square feet, the requirement would not apply. So the easement requirement would then be voluntary on these sites, and if they're provided, they might also receive zoning relief. In addition to the proposed set of relief, further use, bulk parking, loading, and streetscape modifications could be available pursuant to discretionary review and approval. And again, in addition to the system-wide easement framework, the text amendment would also include the expanded transit bonus that would continue to provide a floor area bonus of up to 20% of the maximum floor area ratio for developments and enlargements that construct station improvements, and that it would expand the geography of those areas where the transit bonus is used. But again, that's not applicable to Queens, to Community District 3. It's really only applicable to Western Queens and downtown Jamaica. And just to bring us to the timeline for this application, this was certified on April 5th, and it's currently in public review. It'll go through full ULURP and review by all 59 community boards, all 5 borough presidents, all 5 borough boards, the City Planning Commission, and the City Council before it's potentially adopted in the fall of 2021. And before I end, I'm just going to bring us to I can get out of full screen mode. Sorry. I'm going to bring us to the maps that show the stations that are affected in District 3. So starting all the way east, we have 111th Street along Roosevelt Avenue on the 7 line, as well as 103rd Street. And I also just want to emphasize again that what we see here is, in the shaded, first in the dotted red line, that's the 50-foot easement area, any lot that's within 50 feet of a transit station. In blue is shading the applicable zoning district. so therefore the lots that are affected by this proposal. But also to note that only lots of 5,000 square feet would be required to provide an easement, and that's not necessarily filtered out here. So, you know, just keep that in mind as you look at these maps. Just because they're shaded in blue, it doesn't necessarily mean that they would be required, just depending on the size of the lot. And that's not specified here. And, you know, we have Junction Boulevard, which currently has elevator access, and then 90th Street. And finally, 82nd Street, Jackson Heights, as well as the Jackson Heights Roosevelt Avenue transfer point for the EFMR, also ADA accessible. That concludes our presentation, and we're happy to take any questions.
Yes, thank you, Kathy. Before you go on, those who have questions, please put them in the chat so we can pull them from there. Thank you.
Hamlet, there are questions from Nuala O'Dowdry and Margaret Flanagan.
Okay. Okay, the first question is from Nuala. When the MTA introduced the Queens bus redesign, they suggested that the new lines would bring passengers to the nearest subway, which often were not accessible, not 74th Street. I would hope we would have killed the bus redesign, but it's not acceptable to bring bus routes to inaccessible stations. What is your question on this?
I think Nuala left the room. Maybe she got disconnected. So let's move on to the next. Or do you want to comment on that, Kathy Coe?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I quite understand the question.
I can take the comment back to MTA, and if there's any follow-up with a specific question, but I'll let them know.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. The next question.
Sorry, this is Dawn Sif. I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I just pick up Nuala's question?
Dawn, we're going to wait, Dawn. We're going to go down the list of questions that are in the chat. Can you please call on the next person?
Yes, no, I understand. It was because you asked, did anyone want to speak to Nuala's question? I wasn't trying to go out of turn.
Okay, thank you. All right. You can call on the person with the medical question, Hamlet.
Okay, this is from Ms. Flanagan. This is from Ms. Flanagan. A question,
yes, you know,
please.
I can offer a summary because I'm sorry to interrupt, but my question I typed is pretty long. You can see the details. I can kind of just offer a quicker summary if that would be okay. I'm wondering why pretty much from city planning with zoning changes always come with givebacks to developers, and why that's happening, why we can't just say these are the new zoning needs of our city and you have to follow these rules.
Sure. To speak to the zoning relief that's being provided, I just want to clarify that these are not bonuses. It's really any space that's being lost from the development site because of the transit easement is basically being made up for. And again, it could come in a number of different zoning relief provisions. It's not even necessarily the case that a developer might take advantage of all of them. Again, it would be a very site-by-site kind of specific basis. But this relief is being provided. So for example, you know, if the majority of a ground floor space of a building is now being provided for this public service, and they're losing that space in their private development, the zoning relief, not bonus, is being provided to help offset the burdens around construction or feasibility of the project in general.
Hamlet is Dawn now. Dawn, go ahead.
Dawn Sif. Dawn, you want to verbalize that or should I read it?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm sorry. I was just trying to find my mic.
let
Yeah,
them know.
I'm just picking up Nula's question, which was that before the pandemic, there was a bus redesign and they were going to eliminate the Q49, which is an extremely popular route. I take it every day when I commute. It connected people to the 74th Street Transit Hub. And so we just would love to know if there's an update related to the bus redesign, the Q49 and other routes that were going to be cut.
I don't have an update because that is not one of my projects. I'm not in the bus group. I'm in the transit-oriented development group, but I can certainly take that question back to the MTA.
Thank you very much.
Just one statement, everybody. Could we just focus on the transit portion of this in terms of the subway and accessibility? I'm sure I'm sure Ms. Park will be able to answer some of, if she can't answer them, she can really get back to us. But we focus on basically the vertical accessibility by elevators or just accessibility for our disabled transit riders for now.
All right, there's one more person.
Any other questions?
NCV, who is that? NCV, who are you? Can you identify yourself? NCV. Okay.
Hello.
Yes. Your name
Hi,
is?
this is Noah CV.
Okay.
Yes, I was just commenting back on the comment about Q49 and its redesigns and its other options. And my question is, what are the plans moving forward now that the city is reopening? And what can we do to make sure commuters / workers make their way to work without much traffic and gridlocks that we see, especially in the afternoons in our Jackson Heights area?
Well, Noah, and I know our chair mentioned this to you, we appreciate your question, but we're only taking questions as it relates to the items that are on the agenda. And as the speaker from the MTA, she doesn't handle that area. So, but your comment was noted, and when MTA comes in front of us again to talk about that, please come and ask those questions. But thank you for your question. All right, Hamlet, anything else?
Okay, Ms. Coe, would you prefer to proceed to the hotel zoning text amendment?
Sure, will do.
I mean, are you
Thanks,
completed with the zoning for accessibility, or is this more would you like to add?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought, yeah, if this concludes public questions and comments, then I'm happy to move on if you are.
I mean, everybody, please, if you have any questions, now's the time to ask Ms. Coe regarding those subway accessibility issues. Because she's perfect to answer them. So instead of asking, like think about them later. But please come forward now if you have any additional questions regarding vertical or elevator accessibility with the citywide zoning text amendment. It'll be fantastic. Anyone additional, any additional questions? Please speak up.
Hamlet's Nulo Doherty.
Okay.
So I think we're beating around the bush. My question is very specific, and that is that how do we make sure that the MTA, if they do a future bus redesign, that they think about the accessibility of the stations? I think what was concerning to everyone with the bus redesign was that they were bringing passengers to non-accessible stations. So we have Junction Boulevard and we have 74th Street. Is there a way to tell the MTA that we really want our bus passengers brought to accessible stations? Because many people take the bus because they're so much more accessible than our subway stations.
I really appreciate that comment. I think that's an important comment, and I'll be sure to take it back to the bus redesign group.
And make all of our stations accessible.
That's our goal. That's our goal with this proposal. That'll help us get there faster.
And I just
Okay,
want to
thank you.
jump in to just let members please stick around. We have 10 items to vote on tonight, so please stick around. Go ahead, Hamlet.
Okay, Ms. Coe, please proceed to the next citywide hotel special permit zoning,
Sure.
citywide zoning amendment. Really appreciate
Okay,
it.
great. Can you confirm that you can see the full screen mode?
You can see it. I can see it
Okay,
actually. Not sure
wonderful.
about
Okay,
everybody else.
great. So this next text amendment application is the citywide hotel special permit. And this project is a zoning text amendment that would create a new special permit for hotel development across the country, resulting in all hotel development becoming subject to public review through the ULURP process. This means that no new as-of-right hotel development would be permitted. And just to clarify, as-of-right means that it can just be built and there's no public process embedded into that. And that would no longer be allowed. So the goal is to create a consistent framework for hotel development and to make sure that new hotels don't negatively affect the surrounding area. This application was certified on Monday, May 3rd, and community board review will continue through mid-July. So I just want to start with a little bit of background on the hotel market in New York City over the past decade before launching into the actual proposal. So when we look at the last decade before the pandemic hit, New York City was experiencing record growth in tourism and hotel development. The amount of visitors to New York City grew by about 20 million between 2009 and 2019 to reach 67 million in 2019, and it was expected to continue to grow pre-pandemic. During the same time period, the number of hotel rooms in New York City grew by about 50,000 to reach close to 130,000, as you can see in 2019. In the past 5 years alone, New York City saw a 40% increase in hotel rooms. Despite this significant increase in hotel rooms, demand also continued to rise, and the occupancy rates remained high at almost 87%, which are among the highest for cities in the US. So I'll also note that the growth of the New York City market of the last decade was driven by both international and domestic travelers that were coming to New York City. So what did this look like in Queens? To zoom in into hotel growth more locally for context, Queens has the second largest hotel market in the 5 boroughs after Manhattan, with about 14,000 hotel rooms, which is nearly twice as many as Brooklyn, which is the next largest. Queens is also the only borough aside from Manhattan that has shown impacts on the hotel market during COVID. And when we look at the Flushing, LaGuardia Airport, North Queens submarket, it's driven mostly by central business districts such as Flushing, including airport-related business from LaGuardia, obviously. But although airport business has dropped, non-airport business still accounted for 50% of hotel guests prior to the pandemic. And as of September 2020, the occupancy rate in this submarket is 61.6%. So over the years, rapid growth of hotels throughout the city has led to concerns with surrounding uses. Growth of new hotels in different zoning districts in the city has really led the City Planning Commission to adopt a variety of different special permits, resulting in an inconsistent framework for when it comes to regulating these hotels. Notably in 2018, I came to the board with a hotel special permit application that was adopted for M1 zones, which are light industrial zoning districts, and that proposal aimed to address conflicts between hotels and industrial and manufacturing businesses. Hotel locations are spread across the city in different types of zoning districts, and that includes commercial and mixed industrial districts, residential districts, and these have all introduced different kinds of conflicts with the surrounding uses. Hotel uses are similar to commercial and residential uses in some ways, but they also have the potential to cause conflicts with those uses that are related to things like loading or queuing vehicles, access to parking, and sidewalk conditions, which can all cause safety concerns or potentially inconvenience surrounding businesses. On the slide, we see a few examples of hotels showing incompatible or conflicting uses with the surrounding context. On the top left, we see a hotel in Mascot that's across from a cemetery, is surrounded by industrial and is surrounded by industrial uses, and it's generally not an ideal location for a hotel. The surrounding uses could create an unsafe context for guests. In the bottom left, we see a hotel in Manhattan with really insufficient loading and queuing space for guests that would create traffic on the street and sidewalk. On the top right, we see an inconsistent street wall. This building is set back significantly and disrupts the character of the neighborhood. And then on the bottom right, a very narrow sidewalk in the area, a very narrow sidewalk has resulted in this hotel development in an area where good sidewalk space is very much needed. So as a result, the hotel development really requires additional consideration to make sure they're developed in ways that don't cause conflicts or concerns for surrounding residents or businesses. So as you can see on the slide, the red dots indicate existing hotel locations currently, and they're distributed all throughout the city, but mostly concentrated in Manhattan. The proposed text amendment would create a consistent zoning tool for new hotels and allow the City Planning Commission to evaluate each hotel development's impact on the long-term use and development patterns of the surrounding area. It's also important to note that the proposed special permit doesn't prevent hotel development, and it also wouldn't consider all hotels inappropriate. It just applies an additional layer of review within which in the ULURP process, this includes all stakeholders in the ULURP process, would then assess the appropriateness of a hotel in a given location based on the surrounding area. And the new special permit would be applicable in all areas that hotels are currently permitted today, aside from those M1 zones that have that special permit that was approved in 2018 that already address the sort of unique concerns for light industrial areas. So where hotels are currently allowed today is where this special permit would impact higher density commercial districts, residential districts with certain commercial overlays, and mixed manufacturing and residential districts. So again, anywhere hotels are allowed as of right today, and there would just be and this proposal would place an additional layer of review applied in the future. So in order to grant this permit, the commission would find that a hotel does not impair the future use or development of the surrounding area. This finding may seem broad, but it allows for a consistent approach since it relates to use compatibility. And site plan approval would also be required for the ground floor space to make sure its configurations don't conflict with surrounding uses, particularly when it comes to vehicular access. And because of the significant impacts that the pandemic is having on the hotel industry, some tools have been created to reduce the likelihood that the special permit would impair the recovery of the hotel industry and help those closed rooms come back online. So the tools to aid in recovery include a 6-year window for hotels with filed building plans to be constructed, which is an extension of the standard 2-year window for this. There would also be an exclusion of recent or active land use applications. So any application that was recently approved by the City Planning Commission or BSA, meaning since 2018, would not require the special permit. And then applications that are in ULURP or with the CPC or are filed with the BSA prior to the adoption of this text amendment would also not require the special permit. And finally, hotels that are now vacant will have a window of 6 years to reopen, which is extending the standard 2-year window for what the DOB calls extended discontinuance. And to touch on the environmental review, the DEIS, the draft environmental impact statement, it projected shortfalls of rooms, leading to an adverse impact on the hotel and tourism industry. So in order to address this finding in the environmental review of this adverse impact, the tools listed on the previous slide would help ameliorate this impact. So also note that it's expected that as tourism recovers, the concerns that were raised with respect to hotel development over the past decade would once again arise, renewing attention to the subject to begin with, the regulation of how and where hotels are built. So in summary, New York City's tourism economy is a very vital component to the city's economic health overall. And as the tourism industry recovers from the pandemic, as we already see it happening, it is expected that hotel development is going to resume. So while it's important that hotels can continue to locate throughout the city to support this vibrant tourism economy and meet the needs of residents and businesses, and the pace and the patterns of development that were driven by that record high tourism has created a lot of conflicts with adjacent uses and have really overwhelmed some communities. And this has indicated a need that, you know, more needs to be done when it comes to how hotels are regulated and where they're built. So going forward, if approved, all hotels would have to file for a special permit with the Department of City Planning, go through the full ULURP process for approval, which would include meeting the findings of the special permit, being subject to site plan approval, and undergoing environmental review. And it would follow the full 7-month ULURP process with 60 days for the community board to review. And that brings us to public review for this project. This project was certified on May 3rd. There's 60 days for the board to review, and this will go on through mid-July. The CPC will hold a public hearing and vote in the summer. And then the City Council would hold a public hearing and vote in the late summer or early fall. So that concludes my presentation. And again, happy to take any questions.
Okay. Okay, any questions, please place them in the chat. Okay, I have one. First question is from Ms. Flanagan. Who decides the no impact decision? In ULURP, community board is just advisory, yes?
Thank you. My point is that within the ULURP process, what the community board might decide about the appropriateness of the hotel is not binding, if I'm understanding correctly. So how can we ensure that this change really achieves its goal?
Sure. So yeah, I think your question is actually pretty multifaceted. So in terms of the findings and the determination of whether or not a proposed hotel is appropriate for its location and the site plan that they're proposing is appropriate, it would be determined through the application process. So through the environmental review, through the review of the site plan that they're submitting as part of their application. So yeah, as part of the ULURP process, as you know, as it stands, the community board and borough president are advisory, and then the city planning commission and the council votes are binding. So, but with that said, we, you know, throughout the pre-certification process, certification is when an application is deemed ready for public review. That's sort of the applicant's go ahead to start ULURP. There's always a lot of encouragement for the applicant to go to the community board early on to do a good amount of outreach. And I certainly do that with every application that comes to city planning for board 3. So, you know, that would continue. And I mean, to be a good neighbor also, any developer, regardless of whether or not they're as of right or an application that's subject to public review, should go to the community board to do this outreach. But I hope that answers your question. It's kind of a long answer.
Just call out the person, Hamlet, and let them say their question, please. I think the last 2 questions.
Okay. This is Ms. Mal LaGuardia, CC from LaGuardia Community College. You see, I'm sorry, but what is the name of this hotel? Could you elaborate on that, Jensen? I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Are you?
No, pronounce well. May I ask, what is the name of this hotel if I am missing, or did you mention the name of this hotel?
No, this is not an application for a specific hotel. This is a zoning text amendment. It's an application to amend the zoning resolution that would
Oh,
change the way that hotels are built in the city.
okay. Thank you. Thank you for your answer.
No problem.
Roy, can a new hotel permit be denied during the 60 days community board involvement?
You can let them ask their question, Hamlet. You can let him unmute himself.
Okay, Roy, please
Yes.
come to,
Yes,
thank you.
basically, there was a time where, you know, a hotel went through the community board, and I just don't know if we can deny in advance. It goes that far away. Many people didn't know about a new hotel that I built on Roosevelt Avenue. We just found out way later.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I'm understanding. There's a hotel. Is this a
Well,
specific hotel you're talking about?
well, there is for the future hotel permit. I know they go to the community board. So during the community, that's the first phase, right? Can they deny the permit at the community board? Deny for the hotel to be built?
I think it's best for Hamlet if you can just comment on what our process is in regards to when we get things as it involves ULURPs in front of the board.
What, Ms. Koch, you wanted to elaborate on that and make sure it's very clear?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm understanding
proposal?
this question. Is this person asking about a specific development, or are you asking about the general process of community board review for a hotel?
The general process. It would be the general, but in terms of hotel, let's say a new hotel developer wants to come to Jackson Heights. What is the process in general?
Yeah, again, they would go to the Department of City Planning, file an application for this hotel special permit. They would go through environmental review, and then, you know, that's part of the what we call the pre-certification process. They would have, you know, a land use application that needs to be submitted and approved, or at least deemed technically correct, that they're following all of the regulations that are outlined in the zoning resolution. And then once that review is complete and it's deemed that the environmental review is complete and that the materials are technically correct, then it's certified, and then it begins the ULURP process.
Okay, Hamlet, that's the last question because we have a number with Edmund.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Cole. Please stick around because we go through the executive session where we vote, and I'm sure you want to hear what we have to say.
Will do. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
Thank you,
Thank you for your help in your presentation.
Of course.
All right, thank you, Hamlet and the Land Use Committee. And again, members, there are meetings, committee meetings that are scheduled. Please make an effort to join those meetings so you can definitely ask numerous questions in that meeting, since we have such a short amount of time here at the board meeting. So Edmund, are all of your businesses here?
Yes.
Very
as
good.
far as I know, I checked before, and Clara checked, and everyone was here. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 7. We have 7 applicants. We're only going to hear 6 of them, but when we get there, I'll tell you. First application is Pelaya's Restaurant Corp., doing business as La Nueva Delicia, 9316B, 37th Avenue, Jackson Heights. This is an application for a wine and beer license. The applicant is present. I do see the applicant in the attendees list.
Can you unmute yourself, please?
Unmute yourself and turn on your camera, please.
Call out their name.
That's not the applicant.
Okay, can you call their name, please?
Claudia Pelaya's.
Yeah, we present.
Okay.
Can you turn on your camera, Claudia, please?
Cámara, no sé. Hablando.
Arun, I'm muting you right now unless you're with Claudia. Are you with Claudia, Arun?
I'm Claudia's husband.
All right, go ahead, Claudia. Forget about it.
Okay, we don't have video, but okay.
I'm going to mute Arun because there's a lot of background noise.
Yeah, he's the second applicant, I believe.
Okay, we'll wait. So go ahead.
Agenda. Claudia, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have your camera on?
I'm trying to put the camera, but it doesn't, it's blocked. I don't understand why.
Okay, just go ahead. I think that there's a lot of
Just go ahead and give us an overview of your business and why you need a wine and beer license.
This is our new restaurant. We've been here 3 months already. We just bought it, and our restaurant is basically a family restaurant, and we've been here for a little while. Yeah. So we're gonna be doing serving beer and wine, just beer and wine, because it's a family. And we open at 9 and we close at 9 p.m. So we don't stay that long, that late. And that's it. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
As usual, anyone who has questions, please type in the chat. There's no one typed in the chat yet. That will go for all the applicants. So if you have questions as we go along, please type in the chat prior to me moving on. Okay, seeing there are no questions typed in the chat, we will take that application up to the executive session. Oh, hold on. Oh, we have a question from Lapsang. Lapsang?
What happened? He said he bought a business from Mother. What happened to the previous owner? Did he had a liquor license or not? The previous business.
I couldn't hear clear.
The question is, did the previous owner have a liquor license also?
Yes. Yes, they've been with the liquor license for a long time. With the same with beer and wine, just beer and wine.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Okay, we'll take this up in executive session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Second applicant is ONS Food Incorporated, doing business as Dosa Delight, 3566 73rd Street in Jackson Heights, an application for wine and beer. I see the applicant there. You can turn on your microphone now.
Hi.
Hello.
My name is Ellen from ABC License, representing ONS Food Inc. I believe the applicant is here too, Arun, Mr. Arun Kumar, with the lot of noise in the background.
Okay, I see him.
Yes. Okay. This is a transfer application. The prior owner had beer and wine license since 2011. Just sold, and ONS Food Inc. will continue the operation. Everything the same. Nothing will change inside, exterior. The hours of operation remains the same. 11:30 to 10 p.m. 7 days. They have a cash register that's used as a bar also, because there'll be alcohol transactions there when customers take out or pay. It's a 6.5 feet by 7 feet, L shape right by the register. 12 tables, 30 seats. and they've been around in the neighborhood for past well over 10 years. So I think a lot of the neighbors will be familiar with this establishment being there, part of the block. And Mr. Arun always worked there, had lots of years in the food business and the restaurant business. He actually cooks too here, and he was a chef here before. And he during the pandemic, the prior owner was not interested in continuing the business, so he took over, and he'll be continuing the operation from here on.
Okay. I don't see any questions in the chat. Give you 30 seconds if anyone has any questions in the chat. Okay, Tammy.
Not so much a question, just hearing your story. I'm glad, Mr. Kumar, that you were able to keep the business going, and that you bring experience to our community, and saving businesses and keeping small business owners is something that Community Board 3 definitely looks forward to. So I look forward to visiting your restaurant.
Thank you.
Okay. We will take this up in executive session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's see who's muted now. Everyone's muted. Okay, good. Third application is El Budare Cafe Corp, 8721 Roosevelt Avenue, Jackson Heights. This is an application for a full liquor license. I do see the applicant present at the top of my screen here. See if you're muted. Your camera's on, but you're on mute. So unmute your microphone for us.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Hi, good evening. Yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you for having me here in this meeting today. And okay.
Just give us a brief overview of your business and the reasoning why you need full liquor.
Well, the reason we need a full liquor license because we are working so hard in this restaurant to make a nice place with a family atmosphere. You know, to give the best of our food, our service to the community, to all customers, in order for us to give cocktails and other different drinks with a nice and an excellent food with a family atmosphere. All the basis of the drinks, of cocktails and other drinks, we need a full liquor license.
And what makes your restaurant different?
Well, I believe we in the community there is no Venezuelan food, and we will be so happy and so proud to sell this food to our neighbor in Jackson Heights. We also have experience, more than 10 years of experience running a Mexican restaurant at 9722 Roosevelt Avenue with the beer license, with no problems with the police and the neighbor. We would like to continue providing the best food and service to the community, Jackson Heights.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? I don't see any yet, but I'm looking. Okay, seeing no questions, we'll take this issue up in executive session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next applicant is Salsa Verde Corp. doing business as Molcajete Mexican, 9213 Roosevelt Avenue in Jackson Heights. It's a corporate change on an existing full liquor license. Okay, I see the cameras on.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Julia Español. I'm basically wanting to transfer the license to my dad. It's a family-owned business. He was in charge of it prior. So it's just going to its rightful owner. now.
And how long has he been operating that restaurant?
Since 96,
25 years.
pretty much.
Yes. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, we're going to take this up in executive session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next applicant, number 5, Ready Penny Incorporated, doing business as Ready Penny, 3707 73rd Street in Jackson Heights. This is an application for full liquor. See where he is. He is here.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Are you able to turn your camera on? Okay.
Is that better?
Okay, just give us a brief overview of your application.
Okay, we're an existing business and we've been in the area family owned for 40 years. I've worked there personally for 20 years. And what happened was last year, my father had passed away and the building itself was owned by the corporation. Our lawyers suggested to form a new corporation to run the business, as to separate the entities that own the bar and the business. So it's not a new business, it's an existing business. We're just making a new legal entity.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? I don't see any there yet. Okay, we'll give it 30 seconds. Yes, Tammy?
Again, not a question, but actually was just there a little bit ago, visited an old friend, Steve, who just came back to the neighborhood. So glad to see that the Ready Penny is still there and look forward to having more drinks there.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay. We'll take it up in executive session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, number 6, we are tabling, as you'll see on top of the report, for Pin Pollo 3239 Junction Boulevard, and we're going back to committee at the applicant's request. So moving on to number 7, Altamira Food Corp. doing business as Juarez Restaurant Bar, 9313 Roosevelt Avenue, Jackson Heights. This application for full liquor. This actually came from last month, where the applicant didn't appear.
Hi,
Okay.
good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, hi, I was trying to contact Mr. Millado. I was trying to reach you back and forth since a couple of days ago. By the time I received the email, I was unable to reach him out to, for these public meetings. I'm gonna represent Altamira Food Corporation on his behalf, if you allow me to talk.
For now, yes, you can
Okay.
you can go over everything. Hold on.
Okay.
One second.
Sure, I wait.
Edmund, if the applicant is not here, would you want to table this, or can the representative would like to table it?
We are normal practices. We do not, if the
Okay.
applicant is not present.
All right, so we shall table this then.
This can be tabled to June.
Okay. All right, ma'am.
Thank you. Not a problem. I will try it again to contact him one more time.
All right.
Okay.
We're gonna move on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Edmund. So as always, members, please, we have 10 items to vote on. We are now going to enter executive session. And as you should know, there are no one from the public can speak at this point. It's only board members. So we always open up our meetings or executive session with the Pledge of Allegiance. So I'd like to bring that up now. So I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
United
and
States of America,
and
to the republic for
which stands one
One
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
justice for all.
Before we adopt our agenda, I'd like to turn the meeting over to Lobsang Salaka. Can you turn on your camera, Lobsang? And I'm going to give you the ability to be the presenter. And you can just explain to everyone what you will be showing.
Okay, so hi, good evening. I'm Lobsang Salaka, Immigration Committee co-chair, and I'm a veteran myself. And this month is a Veterans the Memorial Day. We are passing the end of this month. And also, I'm not going to do any report later on, so Immigration Committee will be doing some events in June. Just look out for the information, and I make it successful, then I will be playing some Memorial Day short video to show that not only the American or immigrant also community also serve the military, and they also patriotic or some kind of like loyalty testing that going around here. So I just want to show what is the Memorial Day is about, and the Immigration Committee is very important because when you apply for citizenship, that could be one of your questions. Say, what is the federal day? Name one of the federal holiday. One of them could be Memorial Day, just like July 4th. So with being said, I will be sharing a video. It's very short, so give me 1 second. So Miss Reed, I just shared here, right?
Yeah, you just share. It should have popped up on your screen. Did you get something that popped up on your screen?
Yes, give me 1 second, but it's blocking me.
Would you like me to show it?
Yeah, please, that'd be great. Oh, somebody got a dog. It came up, you want to do it?
Yeah, I got it. I'm just getting this, make sure it says full screen. Okay, I got it now.
It's made in America, made in home. So just, I hope you enjoy it, and thank you.
What is Memorial Day? It's a federal holiday that falls on the last Monday in the month of May. Memorial Day is, originally known as Decoration Day, originated in the years following the Civil War and became an official federal holiday in 1971. The first Decoration Day was held on May 30th, 1866 in Blandford Cemetery in Petersburg, Virginia, for those who had fallen in the Civil War. According to the Veterans Affairs, Waterloo, New York is known as the birthplace of Memorial Day. People from all walks of life, including immigrants, have served in the U.S. military. About 40,000 immigrants are actively serving today. An average of 7,000 permanent residents have served and earned their citizenship through the military in the past 20 years. Over the last century, more than 760,000 immigrants who have served in the U.S. military have gained their citizenship. How is it observed? We observe Memorial Day by visiting cemeteries or memorials, holding family gatherings or parades, and thanking service members. Did you know each year on Memorial Day, a national moment of remembrance takes place at 3 p.m. local time? How to greet. A simple thank you for your service is all that is needed.
Thank you so much, Lobsang, for working.
Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much for working. Thank you for your service, Lobsang, and thank you for all of our military out there. And thank you for your service. And again, Lobsang, thank you. And as Lobsang mentioned, you will be receiving information about future immigration affairs events, and it will be a busy summer for Queens Community Board 3. So thank you again for this small break from the meeting. So I'd like to call for a motion for the adoption of our agenda.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, Arthur. So Arthur, so you're gonna have to get ready. Turn on your mic, Arthur. Your mic is off. Okay, so Arthur, we're going to have motions by committee. So first, land use is going to go.
Yes, go ahead.
And then he'll call when it's time for the motion. You'll call down each person's name, okay? And you'll update the spreadsheet.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Land use, please, Hamlet, turn on your camera. Hamlet, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, good evening once again, everybody. Our first application regarding proposed citywide zoning text amendment, zoning for accessibility, subway station elevators. In collaboration with the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, City Council, and the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, Department of City Planning is preparing to expand and improve zoning rules that allow MTA to leverage private developments to help create more accessible subway stations to help expedite the delivery of a fully accessible transit system. Today, only about 30% of the city's 493 subway stations are fully accessible. The ZFA seeks to expand existing zoning tools that help coordinate new developments near transit with the construction of improvements to station accessibility and compatibility. Currently, this zoning tool is limited to a few stations, few areas in the city. Recommendation, motion, the Land Use Committee, after review of this matter, recommends proposed citywide zoning text amendment regarding zoning for accessibility, ZFA, be approved and encouraged to fulfill its use and purpose with the following provisos. Number one, the Department of City Planning, DCP will all its ability keep Community Board 3 informed of the progress and development of this zoning text amendment. Number two, sufficient research must be provided to address the mixed-use building types and land use along Roosevelt Avenue, Community Board 3, regarding considerations to address subway station accessibility. 3, committed MTA maintenance scheduling, i.e. for cleaning and repairs and posting for number 7 line elevators, stairs, and stations must be provided and adhered to at all Community Board 3 stations. May I get a second on this?
The chair is looking for a second.
I second.
Mark Burmester seconded it.
Okay, thank you.
Arthur,
Any discussions?
I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll call the question. Yes is approval.
All right.
No is a disapproval.
Can you repeat the motion again?
All right, for zoning accessibility, subway stations, a committee approves, recommending approval. So, I'm gonna call a roll. Kane Bleta,
Yes, approval, please.
yes. Ann Brown,
Yes.
Elba,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Vicky Chan,
Yes.
Mr. Troudy,
Yes.
Hanko,
Yes.
Shiv Das, wait.
He's not here at the moment.
All right. Sonia Davis Roberts, is absent.
Yes.
Sonia's here.
You're here, all right. Michael Rivera,
Michael?
Yes. Yep.
yeah,
Yes.
that's a yes. Vivian Dock, Margaret Dozier,
Wait, I think Vivian is here, but go ahead, Margaret. Margaret, you have to type it in the chat. There's something going on with Margaret's audio.
I can't see the people of the chat right now.
Yeah, I'll look and see.
Vivian Dock, no vote. Margaret Dozier,
She said yes. Typed in the chat, Margaret Dozier.
she said yes.
Yes.
Yes, he says yes.
Renetta English,
Yes.
Mr. Gandhi,
He's not on right now.
all right. Mr. Gideon, Pastor
Mr.
Haran,
Wait, Mr.
yes.
Gideon?
Yes.
Mr. Gideon, do you want to type in the chat? Because I see you.
Loretta Hooks,
Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
yes. Wait, Loretta Hooks, what?
Yes.
Yes. Abdul Hollander,
Yes.
Kevin Hughes is not here. George Julian not here. Edward Kernan,
Yes.
Wait, Vivian just turned on her mic. Hold on. Vivian, can you unmute yourself? I guess she's having a problem. Can you type in the chat, Vivian? Vivian said yes.
all right, let me go back to Vivian. Steve Kahanek absent.
No, I'm here.
Lebanon.
I'm here now. Arthur, I'm here
You're
now.
here.
I say yes.
Stephen Kahanek is yes.
Mr. Gideon, you have to type your response. You're not getting any audio. But go ahead. Sorry.
Stephen Kahanek, all right. Martha Lebanon.
Lebatron.
Lisa Masula.
Yep. Yes.
Ralph Marino. Richard Mullins. Marco.
Yes.
Richard Mullins, yes. Marco.
Not here. Vivian, you have to unmute yourself.
Right. Veronica Neg is not here. Laverne Nimmons.
Not here.
Not here. O'Donnery.
Nula?
Nula. Let's see, Perez. Absent. Dorothy Finnan.
Dorothy was here. Are you here, Dorothy? Can you unmute yourself? Dorothy's not here right now. No, she's there,
Dan
but
Rockwell.
I see Dorothy. Megan is excused.
Pasa Rodriguez. Rodriguez. Hyman Rodriguez. Anancio Romero.
Yes.
Tammy Rose.
Okay.
Yes.
I see Nula just turned on. her.
Edmund Rosenbaum?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. David Rosario?
Yes.
Nula is a yes.
Yes. Lop Singh?
Yes.
All right, Dawn Stiff? Stiff?
Yes.
Yes. Jimmy Smith?
Not on.
All right, is absent. Farad Solomon is absent. Marlene Tapper?
Marlene? Okay, move
Frank
on.
Taylor?
Yes.
Arthur Tyler, me, I'm yes. Chanel Thomas Henry?
Yes.
Hamlet Wallace?
Yes.
Claire Washington Simon?
Yes.
Edwin is absent.
Yes, Edwin is absent, and everyone.
All right. So I got 30 yeses.
Okay, the motion is passed.
Yeses
And just
is passed, right?
so, Arthur, just a reminder when it's time for the motion to repeat what the motion is, so everyone knows what they're voting on. All right, go ahead, Ann.
All right, now.
Okay, my second application. Arthur, are you good now? We're going to the second application now.
Okay, so go ahead. He's good.
Okay, second application regarding proposed citywide hotel text amendment. Hotel zoning text amendment for special permit. This is a mayoral initiative that aims to create a more consistent approach to hotel development across communities and would require new hotels to undertake a special permit review process. Proposed text amendment will create a new special permit for hotel development citywide. It is intended to create a consistent framework for hotel development and ensure that the hotels do not negatively affect the surrounding area. The recommendation, the Land Use Committee, after reviewing this matter, recommends the proposed citywide hotel zoning text amendment be approved and encouraged to fulfill its use and purpose within the following provisos. Number one, Department of City Planning will, with all this ability, keep Community Board 3 informed of the process and development of the zoning text amendment. And two, lastly, it shall be noted once this hotel use is established and confirmed by all parties involved, and if there is a need to change this use to another use, i.e. homeless, housing, etc., in this community, the Community Board 3Q will be alerted of this change for review and confirmation. Can I get a second on this resolution?
Second.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay.
All right, so this is a vote on the hotel special permit and
Wait, is any
to vote in
discussion?
favor.
Wait a second. What else? Any discussion? Okay. All right. Call the question. Yes is in favor.
All right, so this is to approve the permit for the hotel specials permits.
Hotel tax amendment, sure.
All right. Kahan?
Yes.
All right. No vote. Ann Brown?
Yes.
Elba?
Yes.
Mark?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, no. Vicky Chan?
No.
Mr. Chowdhury?
Yes.
Mr. Chowdhury?
Yes.
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 All right. Heiko,
Yes.
Shivdas.
He's not in, so you don't have to call his name in future.
Right. Shivdas. Sonia Deva Roberts is not here.
No, she's here. She's here.
Okay,
Good.
she was here, right. All right. Michael.
Yes.
Sonia's
Vivian
yes.
Bach?
Okay, sir.
Vivian Doc. Margaret Dozier.
Yes.
Vivian Doc is yes. All right. Margaret Dozier.
Margaret's gonna type in the chat. Yes.
Yes. Renee English. Renetta
Yeah.
English.
Yes.
Mr. Gandhi.
You don't have to call him. He's not on.
All right. Mr. Gideon's not here. Pastor Haran.
Mr. Gideon.
Yes.
Mr. Gideon.
Mr. Gideon's here.
Gideon is here.
I'm gonna. Okay, go ahead. We'll come back to him.
All right. Pastor Peter Haran. What was the vote?
I think, Pastor Haran, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes. Yes. All right. Lorinda Hooks.
Yes.
Abdurrahman Hollander.
Mr. Hollander.
Yes. Yes.
Kevin Hughes absent. Joe Shulian absent. Edward Kernan.
Yes.
Stephen Kahalik.
Yes.
Martha Lebanon.
Yes.
Lisa Masula.
Yes.
Ralph Marino. Ralph Marino.
He's absent. No, don't call his name.
Richard Mullins.
Yes.
Yes.
Have a bad background.
Marco Menez. Marco.
Marco's not here, so you don't have to
He's
call
not
him.
here. All right. Right. He wasn't. Veronica Negg not here. Laverne Nimmons.
Not here.
Nuala Daughtery.
Yes.
Yes. Lansinga Perez.
No, she's not here. You don't have to call her. She's not here, Ladisla.
All right. Dorothy Phelan. Not here.
Dorothy's here, but I don't know what happened. But okay, go ahead.
Megan Rockwell.
Excused.
Megan Rockwell. Reyes Rodriguez. Aaron Rodriguez. Leonardo Romero.
Yes.
Biancio.
Tammy Rose. Tammy
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Edmund Rosenbaum.
Yes.
David Rosero. David Rosero.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Lapsing Salaka.
Yes. Salaka, yes.
Dawn Schiff.
Sif, yes.
Jimmy Smith absent. Tahad Salaman absent.
No,
No, yes.
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 Here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Marlene Tapper left. Frank Taylor.
Yes.
Arthur Tyler, yes. Chanel Henry. Chanel Thomas Henry. Hamlet Wallace.
Yes.
Good. Toy Washington Simon.
Yes.
Ed Wesley's not here. We have 29 yes and 2 no's.
Okay, thank you so much, Arthur Tyler. Everyone, we're down to 2, 4, 5, 6 more items to vote on. Thank you so much, Hamlet and the Land Use Committee.
You're welcome.
Rosenbaum,
I'm ready. You ready?
go ahead.
Okay. First application is Palaya's Restaurant Corp. doing business as La Nueva Delicia, 9316B, 37th Avenue in Jackson Heights. This is an application for a wine and beer license. Motion by the committee is the committee recommends approval of an application for an on-premises wine and beer license for this applicant. Do I have a second?
Second.
I second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, no discussion. I can call the question.
Okay, Arthur,
All right,
we have a motion on the floor to
yeah, well,
approve.
let me get back up.
Mhm.
Why is this cooperating? All right, so this is, Tabell's Restaurant, doing business in Lavera Nerda, 93-168 37th Avenue. This is a vote to approve.
Everyone, please get ready because he's gonna call your name, know where you fall in. So go ahead, let's try to zoom through these names.
All right, all right, Kahan,
Khan Bhatta, yes.
yes. Ann Brown,
Yes.
yes. All right, Elba,
Yes.
yes. Mark Burmeister.
Yes. Yes.
Vicky Chan,
Yes.
Mr. Chowdhury.
No.
Echo.
Yes.
Call his name, he's not here. So go ahead.
Shiv Sonia David Roberts, not here.
No, she's here. She's
Yes,
here.
Sonia Davis Roberts is here.
All right,
Because in the beginning, that's what happened. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sonia is here.
all right. Michael DeVerla,
Yes.
Vicky Doc, Vivian Doc,
Yes.
Margaret Dozier,
She's gonna type in the chat. Margaret, type your vote in the chat. Go on. I'll let you know what Margaret says.
all right,
Go ahead.
Renetta English.
Yes. Margaret is a yes.
All right, Mr. Gandhi's not here. Mr. Gideon's not here. Pastor Haran,
Mr. Gideon, you're there. Can you type your chat? I see you're moving. Can you please type your vote in the chat? Or come back in and come back out again. But go ahead. But Mr. Gideon is.
Peter Haran,
Yes. Yes.
Loretta Hooks,
Yes.
John Allender,
No.
Kevin Hughes, not here. Joyce Julian, not here. Edward Kernan,
Yes.
Steve Kohanek,
Yes.
Martha Leberton,
No.
Sheila,
Yes.
Ralph Marino, not here. Richard Mullins,
No.
no. Marco Munez, Marco's not here. Veronica Nudge not here. Laverne Nimmons, not here. All right, Nilla O'Dottery,
Yes.
Latsing Perez, not absent. Dorothy Feenan, not here. Mega Rockwell, not here. Patricio Rodriguez, not here. Hiram Rodriguez, not here. Leticia Romero. Tammy Rose,
Yes.
Ed Rosenbaum,
Yes.
David Rosario,
Yes.
Lapsing Salika,
Yes.
Dawn Schiff,
Lobsang,
Pronounced
yeah.
Sif, yes.
Dawn Schiff,
Dawn Sif, yes.
yes. Jimmy Smith, not here. Fahad Samalaman, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Margaret Tapper, not here. Frank Taylor,
Yes.
Arthur Tyler, yes. Chanel Thomas Henry,
Yes.
Hamlet Wallace,
Yes.
Toy Washington Simon,
Yes.
Ed Wesley's not here. We have 30 yeas and 2 nays, so that passed.
Thank you. Go ahead, Rosenbaum.
Okay, second motion, ONS Food Incorporated, doing business as Dosa Delight, 3566 73rd Street in Jackson Heights, an application for a wine and beer license.
49, not 29, 49. Wrong, 49.
Well, mute yourself, Mr. Chowdhury.
Motion by the committee recommends approval of an application for a non-premises wine and beer license for this applicant. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Any
Right.
discussion? No discussion, we can call the question.
All right, Arthur.
All right. This is for Q&S Food on 35, 66, 73rd Avenue, Jackson Heights. A recommendation for an approval. Rick jumped away a minute. Let me get it back. Sorry about that. All right, Sahan Blata,
Yes. Go. Approval.
Ann Brown,
Yes.
Elma,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Vicky Chan,
Yes.
Mr. Chowdhury,
No,
Shiv Das, Shiv Das is a yes.
Shiv is not here.
Shiv Das, all right, no vote. Sonia Davis Roberts, not here.
Michelle,
you missed me, Aiko Cornelissen. I'm here.
Wait.
Sonia's,
Sonia Davis Roberts is here, right?
but let her say her vote, please, Sonia.
Yes. Yes.
All right, Michael DeVera,
Yes.
Vivian Dock,
Let me unmute her. Hold on. Vivian, you were having background noise, so go ahead, Vivian. Okay, Vivian.
Vivian is yes or no? What is Vivian?
We'll come back to her.
We'll come back. Margaret Dozier, Renetta English,
Yes, Margaret said yes in the chat. Vivian, can you type your vote in the chat, please?
all right. Mr. Gandhi not here. Mr. Gideon not here. Pastor Peter Haran.
No.
Lorenda Hooks.
Yes.
Abdurrahman Howlander.
No.
Vivian, can you say your vote, please?
Yes. Yes. You hear me?
Yes, can you mute yourself? There was Background noise.
All right. Vivian is yes. All right. Kevin Hughes, not here. Joyce Julia, not here. Edward Kiernan,
Yes.
Steve Gahalik,
Yes.
Marlene wants to vote. Can you please unmute yourself, Marlene?
Martha Leviton,
Can you vote? Tapper, please.
Martha
Marlene,
Lebanon.
yes.
Marlene said yes, so can you mute yourself, Marlene?
Who is that yes for?
Marlene Tapper.
All right, I'm not up to Marlene Tapper.
But please put it in for yes.
Lisa Masula,
Yes.
Hold
Ralph Marino, not here. Richard Mullins,
Yes.
Marco, not here. Veronica Negg, not here. Laverne Emmons, not here. Nuala O'Donoghue,
Nula? Okay, move on.
She's a yes. She's a yes. She just typed in.
yes.
Sorry
All
about
right,
that.
Lansing Perez, not here. Dorothy Fina, not here. Megan Rockwell, not here. Vasco Rodriguez, not here. Hara Rodriguez, not here. Lenencio Romario,
He's
Yes.
here.
not here.
No, he's here. He
Yes.
said
Lenencio Romario, what's the vote?
yes, Arthur.
Yes. Tammy Rose,
Yes.
Edmund Rosenbaum,
Yes.
David Rosero,
Yes.
Lapsing,
Lapsang Salaka.
Lapsing Salaka,
Okay, let's move on.
Salaka says yes.
Okay.
yes. Don Siff,
Yes.
Jimmy Smith, not here. Farad Salomon,
Fahad.
Fahad.
Yes. Yes.
All right, Marlene Tapa said yes. Frank Taylor,
Yes.
Arthur Tyler, yes. Chanel Thomas Henry,
Yes.
Hamlet Wallace,
Don't get it close.
Yes.
He gets damaged.
Hamlet Wallace, not here?
You have to mute yourself.
Yes.
Yes, all right, Hamlet, thank you. Toy Washington Simon,
Yes.
Ed Wesley, not here. 30 yeas and 3 nays.
Okay, go ahead, Edmund. Everybody, please get ready to
Motion
vote.
passes.
Go a little. Thank you, Arthur. Go ahead, Edmund.
Third
All
applicant is El Budare Cafe Corp., 8721 Roosevelt Avenue, Jackson Heights. Application for a full liquor license. Recommendation by the committee. Committee recommends approval of an application for an on-premise full liquor license for this applicant. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any
Arthur?
discussion?
All right, so this is
Sorry.
Cafe Corp., 8721 Roosevelt Avenue. The committee recommends approval. It's for approval. All right, Kahan Balata,
Approval. Yes.
Ann Brown,
Yes.
Alba. All right, Mark Burmeister,
Yes.
Vicky Chan,
Yes.
Mr. Chowdhury.
No. No.
No.
Acá es muy dura.
All right, no. Hanko not here. Shivdas not here.
I'm here. It's yes.
Shivdas is here.
Heiko is
No.
yes.
Tycho.
All right. How do you vote, Shiv?
No, Tycho.
Heiko is a yes.
Shiv is not here.
Michael says yes. And Shiv Das?
Not here.
He's not here, all right. Michael, no, all right. Sonia De Robis,
Yes.
Michael Rivera,
No. Vivian Doc,
Yes.
Margaret Dozier, Dozier, Renetta English,
Yes.
Mr. Gandhi not here, Mr. Gideon's not here, Peter Haran,
No.
no, Loretta Hooks,
Lorinda.
yes, Abdul Rahman Hollander,
No.
no, Kevin Hughes not here, Joe Julia not here, Edward Kernan,
Yes.
Stephen Kahalik,
Yes.
Martha Lebanon,
No.
no, Lisa Masua,
Yes. Yes.
Ralph Marino not here, Richard Mullins,
Yes.
Marco Menez not here, Veronica Negg not here, Laverne Nimmons not here, Nuala O'Dottery,
Yes.
Ladisha Perez not here, Dorothy Phelan not here, Megan Rockwell not here, Patsy Rodriguez not here, Hiram Rodriguez not here, and Lenancia Romero.
Yes.
Wait, who was that?
Yes.
Lenancia Romero. Tammy Rose,
Yes.
Ed
Leoncio.
Rosenbaum,
Leoncio.
Yes.
David Rosero not here, David Rosero.
He said yes. He said yes. I heard him.
Yes. Can you
Our
hear
last
me?
thing,
Yes, you were too far from the phone, but I heard you. Margaret typed in the chat. I think you went through her already. I think Margaret was a yes. Sorry, Margaret, I didn't see you, and your volume was active.
Lapsing Salika,
Since Saleka say yes.
Okay, Lopsong.
Dawn
Alright.
Schiff. Dawn,
Yes.
no.
Oh,
Yes.
Kimmy Smith not here. Fahad Salem,
okay, you
No.
Rosenbaum.
No. Fahad Suleiman, no.
Rosenbaum.
that's a no. Marlene
Rosenbaum.
Kappa,
Tyler.
where did you say Marlene was?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yes, all right. Frank Taylor,
No.
Arthur Tyler, no. Chanel Thomas Henry,
Yes.
Hamlet Wallace.
Hamlet?
Wallace,
Yes.
yes. Toy Washington Simon,
Yes.
Ed Wesley not here, 23 yeas, 9 noes.
Wait, Edmund Rosenbaum didn't get to vote.
No.
Right, who did I skip?
Edmund Rosenbaum.
Ed Rosenbaum,
So no. Okay, go ahead, Edmund Rosenbaum.
Okay, number
I
4.
have Edmund down as a yes. What's your vote, Edmund?
No.
No.
Okay, 4th applicant is Salsa Verde Corp., doing business as Molcajete Mexican, 9213 Roosevelt Avenue, Jackson Heights, corporate change. Motion by committee. Committee recommends approval of a corporate change for an on-premises full liquor license for this applicant. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Second.
Okay, we got a few seconds. Okay, any discussion?
No.
Okay, call the question.
Wait a minute, I got
All right, you have the spreadsheet ready?
I have it, but,
Take your time.
all right,
I have a question about that. Is it too late?
He called the question.
Okay.
And he asked for discussion, so now, would you like to take?
Okay. I mean, it's important that we get information, but I mean, not a problem.
Wait a minute, Renetta, she wasn't here the whole meeting, so she should have a chance to ask a question.
Wait, no, well, let's.
Go ahead, Sonia.
Wait.
Listen,
Turn it over.
It's fine. It's fine. I was just gonna ask, well, it's fine.
What is your question, Sonia?
I was just gonna ask, what was the reason that this is for a corporate change, right? So what is the reason that it was taken out of the person's, the original owner's name, and now we're trying to put it back into the original owner's name?
Very simple. They never had any issues, 25 years. Her father got sick, so she switched the corporation over to her name. And in the past 2 years since the last corporate change, he recovered. And now she wants to return the corporation back to him.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you, Frank, and thanks. Okay.
No problem.
All right.
Oh, thank you, Edmund.
All right, thank you all.
Exactly.
Okay, so Arthur, you have the spreadsheet ready? You see, Arthur jumped
I
in.
have the spreadsheet ready, but it's
What happened?
cooperating. Wait a minute.
Rating, okay.
Do
you need assistance or you got it?
No, I'm gonna get it in a minute.
Okay.
Renata, how many more votes do we have?
All right, it's going.
All right, Tammy. If you need assistance.
This is for Ready Penny?
No, this is for salsa Mexican.
Salsa already?
Yes.
And our committee recommends an approval.
Correct.
All right. Kahan Blita?
Yes.
Anna Brown?
Yes.
Elba?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Vicky Chan?
Yes.
Mr. Chowdhury?
No.
Heiko, yes.
Heiko is yes. Shiv Das not here. Sonia Deva Roberts?
Yes.
Michael DeVerler?
Yes.
Yes. Vivian Dock?
Yes.
Margaret Dozier?
Yes.
Margaret Dozier? Yes. What?
Yes, in the chat. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. Renata English?
Yes.
Mr. Gandhi's not here. Mr. Gideon's not here. Pastor Peter Haran?
Come on, everybody. Your name is called. Let's. Pastor Haran. Move on. Go ahead. Next person.
All right. Loretta Hooks?
Yes.
Was that yes? Loretta
Yeah.
Hooks?
She said yes. She said yes.
All right. Abdul Rahman Hollander?
No.
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 Kevin Hughes, not here. George Julian, not here. Edward Kernan,
Yes.
Steve Kohanik,
Yes.
Martha Leviton,
No.
no. Lisa Matulin,
Yes.
Ralph Marino, not here. Richard Mullins,
Yes.
Richard Mullins, what?
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Yes. All right. Marco Munaz, not here. Vivian Egg, not here. Loretta Nimmons, not voting. Nuala Donnery,
Nuala?
Yes.
Okay. No,
Yes.
she didn't say yes. That was Tammy.
All right.
Nuala
That was
typed-
Tammy because she typed it to me.
No, did she type in the chat, Nuala, so we could see it?
I'll tell her to.
Yes, please. Thank you. Go ahead.
Well, I put Nuala down as a yes. Is that correct?
You gotta type in the chat and then we'll have that confirmation. Go
All
ahead.
right. Lansing Perez, not here. Dorothy Phelan, not here. Megan Rockwell, not here. Patricia Rodriguez, not here. Hiram Rodriguez, not here. Leoncio
Leoncio is
Rosario,
yes. Yes.
yes. Tammy Rose,
Yes.
Edmund Rosenbaum,
Yes.
that was yes, right? David Rosario,
No. Dawn has to go. Dawn?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
wait a minute, was that David Rosario?
No, it was Dawn Sif.
Yes.
And
That
David
was
just said
Dawn.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
You deaf?
Excuse me? David?
All right.
Really, he cannot hear me.
No, we're not going to do that because you're far away from your phone, David.
I'm close to it.
Okay. Go
What
ahead.
did David Rosario say?
Yes. He said yes. Yes.
Yes, all right, David, thank you. Dawn Schiff,
She said yes. She said yes before. Go ahead.
all right. Jimmy Smith's not here. Farhad Solomon, what's your vote?
No.
No. Marlene Tapper,
Yes.
Frank Taylor,
Yes.
Arthur Tyler, yes. Chanel Holman Thomas,
Yes.
Hamlet Wallace,
Yes.
Terry Washington Simon,
Yes.
Ed Wesley not here. I have 29 yeas and 4 nays.
Good job. Okay, this is the last one for Business Echo. Go ahead.
Last application is Ready Penny, doing business as Ready Penny, 3707 73rd Street, Jackson Heights, application for full liquor. Motion by committee recommends approval of an application for an on-premises full liquor license for this applicant. We have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, we call the question.
All right. All right, so Ready Penny, the recommendation is yes.
So go ahead.
So,
Blata is the first one.
all right, Blata,
Yes, for your approval, please.
that's yes. Yes, all right, Ann Brown,
Yes.
Elma,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
yes. Vicky Chan, Vicky? All right, Mrs. Chowdhury?
Yes.
That's not Mr.
Uh,
Chowdhury.
Yes.
that was Vicky, yes?
Chaudhary, no.
And
Chowdhury, no.
Chowdhury?
Chaudhary, no.
No.
He's no. All right. Let me correct that. Hanko?
Heiko, yes.
Yes. Sonia Dave, Shiv Das, not here. Sonia Deva Roberts,
Yes.
Michael DeVerzo. Michael?
Michael,
All right. Vivian
move on.
Dock.
Yes.
I said yes.
Michael said yes. All right. Vivian Dock. Margaret Dozier.
Yes.
Renetta English.
Yes, and Margaret said yes in the chat.
All right. Mr. Gandhi not here. Mr. Gideon not here. Peter Haran.
No.
Loretta Hooks.
Lorinda.
Yes.
Lorinda Hooks. Not voting.
Lorinda voted. She said yes.
She said
She said
yes. All right. Abdur Hollander.
No.
No. Kevin, not here. George Julian, not here. Edward Kernan.
Yes.
Steve Kahanik.
Steve?
Steve Kahanik.
Okay, let's move on.
Martha Lebanon. Lebaton.
No.
No. Lisa Masula.
Yes.
Ralph Marino, not here. Richard Mullins. Richard Mullins. No vote. Marco, not here. Veronica Negg, not here. Laverne Nimmons, not there. Nilma Donnery.
Yes,
Yes.
she got that. Oh, she's back. Okay, good.
Latila Perez, not here. Dorothy Phelan, not here. Milan Rockwell, not here. Patricia Rodriguez, not here. Hiram Rodriguez, not here. Mr. Romero.
Yes.
Tammy
Richard
Rose.
Richard Mullins put in the chat yes. Go
Amy
ahead.
Rose is yes.
Wait, let me go back.
Okay.
Richard Mullins is yes.
Correct.
And Tammy Rose.
Yes.
Ed Rosenbaum.
Yes.
David Rosaro.
Yes.
Yes. Lop Singh. Lop Singh. Lop Singh Salanka.
Okay, let's move on.
Lop Singh. Dawn Schiff.
Yes.
Jimmy Smith's not here. Farad Suleiman.
I think he dropped off, so go ahead.
He dropped out. Marlene Tapper.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Frank Taylor.
Yes.
Arthur Taylor, yes. Chanel Thomas Henry.
Yes.
Hamlet Wallace.
Yes.
Toy Washington Simon.
Yes.
Ed Wesley's not here. I have 27 yeses and 4 nos.
And the last two applicants are tabled.
That's right. And we just have one more vote after this. I'm going to get through the other items. I see that there was a question in chat, Nula, traffic and transportation. They'll talk to that. You can look over there at Kiernan at Nula's question. So I'd like to thank everyone for your patience, right? So we have one more thing to vote on after we get to one of the committee reports. So Everybody, I'm just going to read through my view from the chair, and you can find it in your folder. I'm not going to read everything, but I just like to say, everybody look around because there's a reason to rejoice. Everybody come out and let's commence the singing joyfully. Everybody look up and feel the hope that we've been waiting for. Can't you feel a brand new day? This is from Luther Vandross, A Brand New Day from the Wiz, right? Can't you see it's a brand new day, everyone? The COVID-19 numbers are down. Many of us have been vaccinated. I've been vaccinated and I'm fine, right? Our stores are opening, our restaurants there's no more requirements around there, gyms, so on and so forth, right? We're back to having our trains 24 hours. Many of us no longer working from home. I'm back to work, right? Or I've always been working for a full year, but now I'm back in the office. And finally, we feel comfortable visiting our family and friends. So everyone, we're going in a positive direction. However, we still living with COVID-19. I still know many that are someone that recently came out of the hospital. So please protect yourself, wear your masks, protect your own life. Wear your mask, wash your hands, practice social distancing. I'd like to thank all of our community board chairs who have been very busy with their committee meetings. And I'd like to thank all of you that has come out recently to our spring Flushing Bay Promenade cleanup. And I'll name you by name because you were truly appreciated. But before I do that, I'd like to thank everyone and thank the executive board that assisted me with we compiled a number of questions for the interviews that I participated in for the 115th precinct, and I'm so excited that Captain Altahiri has come to us as someone that I advocated for because I felt that he would be great for our community. So that information is there. So again, we had our spring Flushing Bay Promenade cleanup, and we had numerous sponsors, and I know a number of you are on the line that belong to these groups. Thank you for Councilman Moya, Guardians of Flushing Bay, Riverkeeper, Ditmars Boulevard Block Association, East Elmhurst Corona Civic Association, Dominico American Society of Queens, Corona East Elmhurst Kiwanis, Fort Prep, Our Lady of Sorrows, Elm Corps, Regal Heights, New York City, definitely New York City Parks Department and Department of Sanitation. We had over 70 volunteers who spent the day with us. Thank you to the following community board members, which are only 7. Mr. Gideon, Vivian, Nuala Doherty, Narango, Lorinda Hooks, Margaret Dozier, and Frank Taylor. Also, Ms. Reed and Clara participated. Thank you all. It was very important for you to submit that EEO policies and procedures, please. We extended it a little longer because there's some things, and it's in your folder, the EEO policies and procedures and the code of conduct. And finally, I just wanted to reiterate to everyone that during our monthly board meetings, there are times for the public to speak during public information session, right? And they also have the opportunity to speak during our public hearings. But once we adopt our agenda, we're in executive session, it has to be followed. Because as you can see, we've been voting on so many things. We have business to conduct. So only Queens Community Board 3 members have the opportunity to comment on issues in front of the board. So you can read the other items that are there. As again, happy Mother's Day to all of our mothers. We had Cinco de Mayo. We ended Ramadan. There was a wonderful Eid celebration down in Jackson Heights. Thank you. Thank you, Lobsang, for the Memorial Day Remembrance video, National Bike Month, Mental Health Awareness Month, Teacher Appreciation Week, Asian Pacific Heritage Month, and thank you to our wonderful, wonderful nurses. Ms. Reed, take the mic. We want to be finished by 10:30.
Well, I have
Can
a
I
very
say something
extensive
before?
report. We have a very extensive report, 20 pages. However, I will not read them tonight, and only just to say, enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, and I'll see you in June. Thank you.
All right, before we, Elba, did you have something to say?
Yes, I say that I was out of town. However, my husband was there representing me.
Okay,
Thank
Elba,
you.
thank you very much. Okay. Oh my, all right. So I'd like to call for a motion to adopt our April 15, 2021 minutes.
Second.
Motion.
Okay, all in favor? I guess it's by common consent.
Aye.
Aye.
So the last vote that we have, everyone, Marta takes the floor, and this is something that we carried over from last month and we need to vote on this tonight. So Arthur, you're up next after Marta is finished. Go ahead, Marta.
Okay, good evening, everybody. We had a committee meeting on Tuesday, March 18th, and it was discussed the presentations that were given at the April full board meeting, the reconstruction of the Passerelle, and the World's Fair Marina operations relocation in conjunction with the air train alignment. All board members were emailed the 2014 structural study that was requested for their review, and they were all invited to the committee meeting. At the meeting, there was a recommendation, and the recommendation was to send a letter to New York City Parks Department that the two presentations were viewed, and the letter will also include the following for the Passerelle. Preserve the history by using the IPE wood, which is used in Coney Island and Atlantic City boardwalks, and include the lamppost, fencing, railing, and canopies. The money that was set aside, which is capital money of $124 million, should be used to renovate the Passerelle with or without the air train project. There will need to be year-round maintenance of the Passerelle, not just when there are events occurring, but year-round maintenance. So the committee did agree to send the letter, so I put the motion on the floor for a vote that we send the letter, that we saw the presentation, and we're going to include the provisos I mentioned for the Passerelle. Do I have a second?
Second.
And then, is there any discussion? It was seconded by Edmund, I believe. Is there any discussion? Okay, Arthur, please call the question.
All right, this is to send a letter to the Parks Department for the promenade with various, with amendment, with, as amended.
It's for the Passerelle.
Passerelle with the amendments.
Not the promenade, the Passerelle.
Not the promenade, all right.
The Passerelle with the provisos we added, so it's a letter that we saw the presentations, and we're including in that letter what we want for the Passerelle. That's what we're voting on.
All right, good. Let me correct it. All right. All right, so the motion is to send a letter to the Parks Department on the Passerelle, as we're amending it. All right, Kahan Balata, how do you vote?
Tom, are you still there?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Yes, all right, Ann Brown,
Yes.
Elba,
Yes.
Mark Burmeister,
Yes.
Vicky Chang.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Charteris.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Hanko,
Yes.
Shiv Das not here. Sonia David Roberts,
Yes.
Michael Rivera,
Yes.
Vicky Dock,
Yes.
Margaret Dozier,
Yes.
Margaret Dozier,
She said yes.
Renata English,
Yes.
yes. Mr. Gandhi not here, Mr. Gideon not here, Pastor Peter Haran, no
Move
vote.
on. Mhm.
Yes,
Move on.
what did Pastor Haran?
He didn't say anything, so let's move
All right,
on.
Lorinda Hooks.
Yes.
Abdul Rahman Hollander.
He left.
Kevin Hughes not here, Joyce Jr. not here, Edward Kernan,
Yes.
Steve Kohanek. Steve Kohanek, no vote. Martha Lebanon.
Yes.
Yes. Lisa Masula.
Yes. Yes.
Ralph Marino's not here. Richard Mullins.
Yes.
Marco Menendez. Marco Menendez. I'm not here. Vicky Meg not here. Laverne Emmons not here. Nuala Daughtery.
Hello?
Nuala. All right. Lansing not here. Dorothy Feenan not here. Margaret Rockwell not here. Facio Rodriguez not here. Hiram Rodriguez not here. Manancio Romero.
Yes.
Tammy Rose.
Yes.
Edmund Rosenbaum.
Yes.
David Rosero.
Yes.
Lapsing. Solanka.
Salenga, yes.
Not
Okay.
here.
Stop
Dawn Schiff.
Dawn
Nula
said
said-
yes.
Yes, Dawn. Nula said yes. She's in the chat. Okay, you want to go back up on the spreadsheet? Nula said
Well,
yes.
who said yes? Who said
Nuala.
yes?
Nula.
Nuala.
So go back
Nuala
up.
said yes. All right, I got it.
Good.
Lapsing.
He said yes already. We don't want Lops.
Yes. All right. Dawn Schiff.
She said yes. She did say yes. So go further down.
Jimmy Smith's not here. Rod Solomon.
Dropped off.
Marlene Tapper.
Yes.
Yes, we did adopt the minutes, Marta. Thank you very much.
Frank Taylor.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Arthur Tyler's yes. Chanel Thomas Henry.
Yes.
Hamlet Wallace.
Yes.
Toy Washington Simon.
Yes.
Ed Wesley's not here. We have 29 yays and 0 nays.
We made it through this voting period, everyone. So we just have two more committee reports. And I know that we've been receiving some emails back and forth, you saw. So go ahead, Traffic and Transportation, Ed Kiernan. I just want to tell everyone that please remember Ed Wesley and his family. His wife passed away a few weeks ago, and we did send our card, did go to his home in remembrance of his dear wife. Go ahead, Edward.
Hi,
Are you there?
everyone. We had a Traffic and Transportation Committee meeting on Wednesday, May 12th. We discussed, of course, the 34th Avenue open street, and we discussed a walkthrough that we had with the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection, where we were talking about vendors and some of the rules that apply to them, and some new laws that are going to affect this summer. DOT installed some bike racks recently on 34th Avenue, on 69th Street in front of PS 398, on 79th Street by Traverse Park, and 81st Street by St. Mark's. So coming up this month, there'll be a meeting with DOT to discuss the 34th Avenue open street. That was scheduled for Monday, but that's postponed until everyone can get on the same page. So we have a full presentation, and we will also be hearing from DOT about some safety initiatives that they're planning in conjunction with the MTA on Northern Boulevard. I think that's it.
Okay, and everyone, please read the reports from the committee chairs in their folder. So again, the meeting was canceled for Monday because we were supposed to receive a plan and there's no plan. So there's no meeting happening on Monday. Immigration
Can we-
Affairs,
Can we
Go
ask a question?
go ahead.
Who called that original meeting for Monday?
The meeting was agreed upon by the community board and DOT. And DOT said to us that they had a plan. And that story has changed, so there's no meeting on Monday.
Got it.
Because we were excited so that the community board could finally take up an issue. And how the community board works, we take up an issue once a plan is in front of us and there's no plan. And so we were told there was a plan and there's no plan, so there's no meeting. Because on a couple weeks ago, Traffic and Transportation had a meeting where all of those items, it seemed, were going to be rediscussed at their meeting on Monday, so that's not happening. All right, so Immigration Affairs. Okay, so I think we did Immigration Affairs already. You'll get some more information from Lobsang soon. On the last Saturday in June, there's going to be an immigration fair in one of our parks. All right, so would you like to say something quickly? We have 5 more minutes yet left, so who would like to speak? Let's see, I know that we had a message from one of our, what was her name? She had typed in the, okay, here it goes. Senator Ramos, Jabida Mary typed in the chat, so you can read that. Michelle, do you want to say something quickly? Because we're getting off at 10:30. You have a sentence or two you want to say?
No, thank you. I added some information on the chat. We have a town hall on Monday. Please join us if you can. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you, Michelle. Cuban, you have like to say something? Cuban?
Yes, I'm here. So hi, this is Cuban from Councilman Drum's office. Just 2 quick announcements. So on May 24th at 6 p.m., Councilmember is holding a LGBT Pride event with limited crowd at Queens Center Mall. We are very excited about this event because this is our first in-person event since pandemic. We still have several spots for RSVP. So if you are interested in attending, please contact our office. I'll put the contact in the chat. And in celebration of the Immigrant Heritage Month in June, we are gonna have a Know Your Rights forum in English and Chinese Mandarin, along with the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs. So it will discuss about local laws that protect immigrant New Yorkers, city services, the COVID-19 resources and services, and we also have a representative from the Commission on Human Rights to discuss about hate crime issues. So, you know, to RSVP where to attend the event, please reach out to us. I'll put the information in the chat. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Go ahead, a minute, James.
Hey. Hi, everybody. It's James here from the Office of New York City Comptroller Scott Stringer. I just put 2 links in the chat. One is about minority and women business-owned business enterprises and how they've fared during the pandemic. In June, we had a survey, and we surveyed 500 that were certified by the city. Of the 500 that answered the survey, 85% said they wouldn't last another 6 months. It turns out, now that we're 11 months past that point, that 95% of those who thought they would be forced to close are still open. So things are doing a little bit better in that regard. And there's information about what could have been done to make sure that the business owners knew about the state and federal programs available to them. It also turns out that about 50% of those businesses ended up having to furlough or lay off workers. And the other link I sent is about the fact that the city just lost $1.86 million because it was scammed by a company claiming it could give us 130 ventilators. The contracts weren't properly vetted because the mayor suspended the comptroller's office's procurement and contract oversight. So had that been in place, we strongly believe that our staff would have realized that this company had no ability to produce ventilators, had no connection to companies that made ventilators, and therefore would have no way to actually deliver the 130 ventilators which they promised. And they didn't, and the city gave over $8 million to them as prepayment, and 1.86 million of it was put into a Chinese bank account. There's basically no legal recourse to get it back. So this is an issue that our office has been raising for a while, that we feel that the oversight rules needed to be put back in place a lot sooner, even though there was a pandemic and the need to purchase things more quickly. There are already provisions in place to rush purchases that should have been followed instead of just completely suspending them. So if you want to read about that, check the second link. If you need to contact me, it's 646-689-6509. Contacts
Thank
in the
you.
chat as well. Thanks.
Thank you, James. Sequoia?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Yeah, so the council member has been going through so many things this week. We have the testing site at Park of the Americas, the corner of 41st Avenue and 104th Street from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. We also have vaccination sites in the district with no appointment needed, one at First Baptist Church and the two other at Elmhurst Hospital, which is going to be Monday through Saturday, and Flushing Meadow Corona Park Mobile Clinic, Saturday and Sunday. They are going to be providing for Pfizer vaccine for ages 12 and up. Council member has also did a ride along with NYC Department of Sanitation workers during one of the litter basket services en route in the District 21, as well as he did partner with Corona Arts and Science Academy and Public Color to beautify our community by doing a mural at the Long Island Station on May 2nd. And last, we also did a food box giveaway with NAACP at Malcolm X Daycare for food and distribution, and we were able to assist around 80 families. I will also put my information in the chat, and if there's anything that you guys need, feel free to contact me.
Great, thank you. Is there anyone else? I think that was the last person. So I call for a motion to end our meeting at 10:31 p.m.
Wait a minute, Renetta.
Go ahead,
I'm
Frank.
sorry. One thing, we got to thank Arthur for his skill in.
Oh, that's fine, Frank. Thank you so much. I did thank Arthur. Arthur
Thank
did
you,
a
Arthur.
Thank you, Arthur.
Okay, everyone.
Thank you, Arthur.
Thank you.
Arthur did
Good job,
above
Arthur.
and beyond. Above and beyond. We appreciate you. Okay, so I call for a motion at 10:31 for us to end our meeting.
And I thank you, Renata,
Second.
too. I thank you for your patience.
Okay.
Yes.
10:30. Motion on the floor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay. Have a great,
Good night.
remember our Veterans Memorial Day weekend. Please be careful out there. It's still COVID-19 season. All right, Arthur Tyler. Thank you again, buddy.